you want us. The only thing is that he doesn't have a comfortable spot. Sorry, Ron. Also, I have.
We live right now? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Montana Tap House. If you're wondering what's going on, we are doing a podcast. We do it every week, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. So if you didn't expect this, have fun. It'll be a lot of fun, trust me. Also, if you want to watch this live, it's kind of confusing. We are going to get our own Beer Buds and Big Sky Podcast YouTube page up. It just takes time to get post live. So to watch our show live, it's on the Tap House Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and MT Whitefish Tank on the YouTube. It's a little confusing, sorry about that anyway. So, anyway, President, did you guys hear this? Oh, our guest today is Riley Summers Flanagan from Epper 7 Law. We're going to go over the Constitutional Roadshow. Wow, Ryan, I never introduced you, I guess. And Ryan Hennon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, there we go. We want to thank Tamarack Brewing, Ed's favorite beer, the Hat Trick.
Your favorite beer, Hat Trick.
Favorite beer, love it. It doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Not over 50 anymore. Anyway, did you guys hear Trump apologized to Greenland and Canada?
No way. Oh.
No, he did not.
Really?
He did not. But I did see him. He never apologized for anything.
No, sir.
He's very unapologetic, and that's
No,
how I
sir.
rule my world, too. I don't say I'm sorry ever.
Right.
Actually,
Wing prices are staying up, and we're not sorry about it.
no, we're not sorry at
Yeah.
all. Do you see Canada's like not fucking around right now?
No, I mean, they hit us back.
They're hitting back.
25% on
Is
electricity.
it Rob Ford that I see on the TV? Is he the guy that was doing the crack and the cocaine?
That was his brother, Doug. Rest in peace.
Oh, he died?
I think he died.
Yeah, you can't be that heavy and do those
He's
kind of
the-
drugs.
I think he's it's like the governor of Ontario.
Yes.
I don't know if
yes.
they call it a governor per se, but I believe it's Ontario.
I don't know. I think they call governors weird things over there, but we did see Trump get into a Tesla yesterday. Did you guys see that?
I did see that.
It was a pretty good little advertising campaign
Gave me another great Trump saying that I get to think about when he sat down and he said, "Everything computer."
Yeah, everything computer.
I said,
Like
wow,
genius.
everything's computer.
And apparently he bought one to help Spaceboy's company. Apparently he's such a huge douche that nobody really wants to buy his cars anymore, which
Well-
is really weird.
It was only a matter of time before we turned the White House into a used car lot. I mean, let's use that space for something.
What in the world, man? Chainsaw boy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to see Trump get into a Tesla, an electric car, was pretty amazing because 4 years ago, we were supposed to boycott the electric cars. And government buildings getting rid of all the chargers.
Yeah.
You know, and we're also told to boycott the NFL 4 years ago. But now Trump went to the Super Bowl, and it's okay because, like, so they're not woke anymore or something.
Yeah.
There's some fucking reason
That
that
was a strange time.
Dude,
when
it was
the
weird.
NFL was for sissies. And
Yes,
It was
I know. And all of a sudden it all went away. And I always talk about the confused conservative because I do think it's very confusing when you're being led one way and another every other year, every other month.
Sure.
You're taught to believe something. You know, I'm going to end this. You know, this economy's horrible. We're going to fix it on day one. And I mean, it is crazy. It's almost as if Steve Bannon's running the shots, isn't it?
he might be.
Right?
I did
You
see
know who
he
Steve
was
Bannon
on,
is, Riley?
I do know who Steve
Yeah.
Bannon
Is your mic working? Is it?
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's
He was
see.
on Gavin Newsom's new.
It's working.
Okay, it's on
He was
good.
on
I
Gavin
think,
Newsom's
yeah.
new podcast.
Who was?
Steve Bannon.
He was?
Oh yeah.
So was Charlie Rich?
I think it was his third guest, maybe.
Oh, really? Oh, I got to hear that. I really do.
Well,
wow.
back to the boycotts. Am I allowed to drink Bud Light anymore? Is that still a thing, or?
Well, I mean, if you're gay or something,
that
I
was a
woke,
pretty
yeah.
big boycott, right?
That was a big boycott, but didn't work.
Not really.
So when Bill Gates bought a bunch of Bud stock, I bought some because I knew. I was like, if he's buying it, something's going on. And to be honest, that stock was sitting at about $48 when the Dylan McVaney thing came out. And within the next few months, it was well over 50. I just sold everything Monday morning. And it was sitting at like 58, I think. But I'm fucking worried. So I just said, fuck it. Got rid of a lot of my stuff.
Well, I, for one, thank the president for getting rid of my woke retirement account.
Right. I bet it is woke.
I'm glad. It's gone on for too long.
I've heard that retirement accounts have lost anywhere from 10 to 20% just in the last couple of days That's fucking weird.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the market's been taking a beating.
Wow. And of course it's gonna, it's, it's weird. Is all these poor suckers, the same people that bought the Trump coin,
It's all part of the
they're buying Teslas now. They
all
can't
part
afford
of
the
the
Trump
plan.
coin, and they can't afford the Tesla, but they're buying it. And the Trump coin, they all got burned bad to the tune of like $38 million or something. And they're gonna buy these Teslas, and they're gonna live in states where they're banning charging stations.
Yeah.
How is that going? Again, the confused conservative. What do I do? I mean, it's weird. Anyway, real quick, we're going to give you a new top 10 this week. New top 10. Top 10 things our governor, Gianforte, is going to spend his slush fund money. Slush fund money. Blah, 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 blah. Number 10, open an Aryan Cultural Center in Kalispell.
Ooh.
Yep, Commissioner Brad Abel lobbied hard for that one.
Already a wait list.
Number 9, donating funds to Trump's 2028 campaign.
Right. He deserves a third term. Give
He
him
does.
a chance.
I think he needs a chance. Invest in the very popular Trump coin, which we just talked about. That's a good one.
I'm a holder myself.
Number 7, rent a studio apartment in Whitefish for the low price of $2,000 a month.
Is that all?
It's not bad. It's really not bad here.
500 square feet?
If you get a good one, if you're lucky. Number 6, replace Our Lady of the Rocky statue in Butte with a larger statue of Trump or Jesus, whichever.
She needs to go.
She's got to go. She's no Trump.
Yeah.
And they're going to get all the rock from Moab, so it can be orange. Number 5, turning the last remaining rural hospitals into town pumps.
Pump it up.
Pump it up, town pump. It's my girlfriend's nickname. Number 4, hiring somebody to throw Ryan Bussey into the Berkeley pit. Oh, yeah.
If anything can vanquish him from this earth,
He would be going to the. We might need a couple guys. Bussey's kind of big. 3, reparations for all Montana-born January 6 participants.
And we got a lot of them.
They need to get paid back. They were in jail. They could not make that money that they made. They're getting $8.50 an hour. Number 2, open a rehab center for the gays. Now that's important.
Yeah.
The gays, they need some rehabbing.
Be a good use of money.
Yeah, that's just a choice, and I'm just sick of it. Number 1, moving the Creation Museum from Kentucky to Montana where it belongs.
I've never been. I hear it's nice.
I hear it's very nice. I chose Dollywood instead. All right, let's talk real quick about Trump. Just real quick with you guys. I want you guys to talk about this, discuss this. Trump is really talking a lot about how we're bringing wealth back to America again.
Right.
Like we never had any fucking wealth at all. The richest country in the nation, he's going to bring the wealth back.
Right.
How much fucking money do they need? I mean, seriously. I mean, he acts like we don't have it, even though he knows we're the richest country on earth. But here he is saying we're going to bring it back. So let's dig in it, Riley. Do you have an opinion? What do you think he's doing? Is it smoke and mirrors?
Well, I would just say that I don't think that the President of the United States has all that much to do with the economy.
I don't either. That's why I'm not hanging it on him for the first month.
Right. So, good. That's really generous of you, given that he's taken a lot of credit for the economy over and over again.
Yes.
But I think that the important thing, and sort of, obviously, I have to sort of speak from as you know, Ed, I have to speak from a pretty nonpartisan perspective because I come from a nonpartisan organization.
Of course.
But what I want to know is that when our president is talking about having a big impact on sort of bringing wealth back, that the policies that would support that are ones that would support the lower and middle classes and make sure that people are actually able to hold on to their paychecks.
That doesn't sound real bipartisan there.
Well,
We know what party supports that.
The GOP.
all right,
of course.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, everybody.
But you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. And so this idea that we should somehow have really accumulated wealth and that we should allow that to just keep happening over and over again, to me, that's not a very democratic idea.
No.
I
mean, how much wealth do we need?
Right. I think as soon as we can get.
I mean, we have the richest person in the world, and he's made a bulk of that money under Biden. Under Biden, he got that rich,
Once we can get him to $1 trillion,
Weird.
then we're going to figure it all out.
Okay, let him get to $1 trillion.
Did you see this? So the new CEO of Starbucks
No.
gave him a $96 million bonus, and then they laid off 1,000 workers in the last week or two.
I mean, they keep doing it.
That seems a little disgusting to me.
Could I do that here, do you think?
Right.
I mean,
you're gone.
Gone. Amy, girlfriend,
Amy,
sorry, you're gone.
Yeah.
Mark Cook, no, Mark's too good. No.
Crazy guy in the kitchen.
TJ, you're gone.
Gone.
Gone. but then I'd have to do all the work. But for some reason, I don't think the CEO of Starbucks has to go and fucking pour coffee.
It seems to me like we're going to reach a breaking point eventually, where we can only get so top-heavy with wealth.
Right.
Where
What do you think?
You're going to have Bezos, Gates, Buffett, Musk, Zuckerberg.
Which all supported Democrats 4 years ago.
But now it's more popular in certain right-wing circles on the internet to support Trump, so they go.
They're
that
bros
way.
now.
You know.
They're bros now. Now
get
they
that,
like they're the nerdiest fucking people on this planet. But now they're with Trump and Rogan, and they're bros, right?
It is very funny that someone like Elon or someone like Zuckerberg, has hundreds of billions of dollars, but all they want is to be cool.
Yeah, I know.
It's never gonna happen.
It's not happening.
It's never gonna happen.
Honey, come here, look.
It's never
Elon's
gonna
got a chainsaw at CPAC. We're
I
gonna
would
get
call-
rich.
I would call Zuckerberg a nerd to his face.
Oh, dude. He looks like a fucking robot. I mean,
yeah.
but all those guys kind of are really nerdy, those tech dudes, Look at Micah. Micah there, he's a tech guy.
Right. He's a billionaire.
I self-identify as a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
I really think,
I saw your presentation last
I
night.
know, exactly, right? Like
That's next level.
there's nothing more nerdy than being like, I would like to travel the state and talk about the Montana Constitution with incredible levels of enthusiasm.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's, I think it's,
There's a lot of nerd stolen valor out there.
there really is, I'm a nerd, but I'm like the Star Wars cocaine nerd, like.
Star Wars counts.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so I just don't understand. I think what I don't understand is okay, the economy's not doing great right now, and that's fine. I'm not going to blame it on Biden or Trump. I'm not. But
all
just
part
to
of the
push the
plan.
narrative over and over that he's going to bring wealth back to America again. It never fucking left. So who are the people that are buying into this?
That's a good question. I don't
Like,
really
why would he say it? I don't get it. I mean, yes, the majority of the country's not really educated. I say it lightly.
Right. And I bet a majority of the country really doesn't give a shit about the stock market.
And they don't give a shit
altogether.
about the stock market or anything.
They didn't care when it was record highs under Biden, and they don't really care now that it's crashing.
True.
Like I was saying last week,
So who's Trump talking to then? When he's saying bringing wealth back, it's just a talking point
I don't know.
that for some reason, I think they put into AI and it says, this one works. Maybe?
Well, doesn't everybody want to be wealthy though?
True, and I think that's why people like rich people.
And doesn't it? I mean, it's one of those things, right? Like a lot of things in life are easier if you've got enough money. And I think
True.
I think part of the idea of the American dream is that each of us has the opportunity to rise above what we grew up with. And,
Yes.
and that we can grow. And I think that it's easy. Everybody would like for that to be easy. So what does it mean for it to be easy? And I think we also know, most of us, we know that the process of creating something new and doing something that matters in the world, it isn't easy. But saying that you're going to bring wealth back to America, it appeals to all of us because all of us want to be somebody who has things to contribute, that we want proof that we did good in this life.
So that point, somebody, in the middle of Alabama is going to say, I like the idea. I like the sounds of that. Bring
Yeah.
wealth back because I ain't got no wealth here.
Roll
Right.
Tide.
Roll Tide, roll Tommy Tuberville, man. That fucker says some of the most ridiculous things.
Right.
They all do, I guess.
First of all, you're a grown man. Tommy is gone. Okay, you're Thomas. You're Tom. all right?
Right, no more Tommy.
I'm Ryan. I'm not Rai.
Rhino.
Okay, yeah, it is Tom
Rystar.
or Thomas.
Yes,
Ryan, are you trying to steal my nicknames?
Yeah.
I'm also a Rai.
Oh, right, of course you would be.
I did like that Trump said, while the numbers are down on the stock market, the animal spirit of the stock market remains strong.
Okay. Fox News, and I Googled these last night because
I do love we measure the economy just on vibes.
it's
now.
hilarious that Fox News, one reporter said that maybe a recession is not a bad place to be in right now.
You can't get to a Great Depression without a
You
recession.
can't get a great one without a regular one.
No.
I will say that doesn't seem consistent.
And then there was a dude that has been doing economic studies. He's one of these Fox correspondent guy or whatever, talking head. He says, well, the stock market right now is not taking into consideration of all the great things Trump is doing, like the tax cuts. Well, I don't know. They haven't passed that yet. That hasn't happened. So that's
not yet.
And he talked about all these great things that he's doing. And he said, like ending deregulation. I'm like, he just said ending deregulation. Don't you mean
Wouldn't that be
ending regulation?
Okay, yeah.
And this is a guy on fucking national news speaking like a moron. But I'm going to be honest, I watch NBC, MSNBC, and Fox. I can pick out the morons all the time on. They're equally fucking stupid. I mean, it's just, it blows my mind, you know, because like Riley just said, you're not going to sit there and the president doesn't have a whole lot to do with the economy. I would beg to differ if he's going to slap 50% tariffs on everybody. Sure,
Well,
you know
that's-
that could swing things.
But to Riley's point, I think this notion that the president has 2 buttons on his desk that says gas prices up, gas prices down.
Yes, I know.
Biden is just hitting the up is
Because he doesn't like America.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It's stupid. We talked about that last week. It's like you just cannot, or 2 weeks ago, whatever. Like, just can't assume that the president fucking hates you, so he's going to raise all the gas prices. They want to get elected, man. You know, like it's. I mean, I'll tell you if Biden, well, he was done, and Harris, I think, kind of was a horrible idea just because the way it went down. But you know, they had a chance to fix the border. They did. They could have done more on the border. And to believe it or not, like I didn't think it mattered, but a lot of people I talked to were really concerned about the border. I never really. But now, you know, we've got it apparently under control. You're looking at farmers in the Midwest. It's time to start planning and it's time to start farming. They're not getting employees showing up.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they going to do?
Right.
Like,
It's gonna be tough.
I couldn't imagine, you know, having a 300,000 acre farm in Nebraska and you're depending on about 1,000 Mexican immigrants so we can eat corn.
Yeah.
Our corn might be more expensive than eggs.
Yeah. Oh, it's the year of the egg.
It's the year of the egg.
Oh, the year of the egg.
I saw a meme of somebody like in a suit purchasing marijuana, and on the other side of the alley was somebody who's selling eggs out of his trench coat.
Yeah.
I guess that's where we're at, huh? One thing I felt was very interesting in the news last week, and I'll tell you, we try to write stuff for the show, and fuck, by 10 minutes before Wednesday at 7 o'clock, there's so much new shit out there. But I think the DEI purge by the Pentagon, I think this is kind of going too far. Maybe not. I don't know. But to get rid of, you know, all the colored gay people, all the 26,000 images have been erased from the Pentagon's military museum because they reference gay or color or, I mean, what the hell? Is that legal, Riley?
Whitewashing.
I mean, whitewashing all of this? It was
Isn't that
number one.
That number 6 is replace Our Lady of the Rockies with a man?
Yeah. Yes, I guess.
I did read that women were hit especially hard by the DEI purge.
Well,
They're always hit hard,
Yeah.
especially when they're with me.
Good one.
Just kidding. I'm sorry, Riley. I promised I'd be classy. I'm gonna be classy. I'll be classy now. I think I saw Bo
I don't think
here.
you've ever promised to be classy.
Oh, I didn't?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good. I forgot. I forget a lot of things.
You know what I will say about this question. I think there are a lot of really reasonable concerns with the idea of taking people out of, like, the idea of targeting people on the basis of their race and their sex and their sexuality. All of those things raise a lot of constitutional problems, and I think that the administration will be seeing the outcomes of those particular constitutional problems pretty darn soon.
Is that why the ACLU is asking me for money every 7 minutes?
Indeed.
Yeah.
They would like to sue them, and they need our help.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting them to show up at my door at this point.
Oh, he's got a picture behind him.
Oh, he does?
Yep.
Whoa. I mean, but this one's fresh.
It is fresh.
We've been
Where's
sending
mine?
you emails, Ryan. You haven't responded yet.
Where is my beer? Okay. What? That's going to last me like 30 seconds. Anywho, I think it's unfair. And then that airplane that said gay on it, that's gone.
Yeah.
And that was like a
I mean,
famous,
it was the best airplane.
very famous airplane. Now they're going to take it to Burning Man and let people do drugs inside of it and have sex, I guess.
Ebola gay or
Mola gay.
Mola gay.
Yeah. It sounds kind of gay, I guess. But you know, back then, gay was not the word it is now.
Sure, it meant happy.
Like, but if this
Still
is,
does, I guess.
but think about this: if we're going to start erasing history, I mean, isn't that scary in a way? Like, my opinion of getting rid of the Department of Education, that's another thing. You know, you're going to have states like Idaho, Montana. They're going to say, you know, white people did what they could to save the Indians' lives, but they were really bad people, and we had to get rid of them. And that's why they still live in fucking poverty.
Slaves were happy.
Slaves were very happy people, yes. Brad Abel actually commented on that one.
Songs, they were happy.
Dude, I played banjos, and you're right, you know. Pick cotton. Who wouldn't want to pick cotton in Alabama in the summer? I mean, that sounds like a vacation to me.
I cannot wait. To
Especially
see
for free.
What my kids come home with in 10 years as homework is going to be wild.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's going to be real wild. Well, so, and speaking of wild, when they talk about, you know, dictators and these horrible countries, and now you've got about 50 countries around the world are talking about America's lining with Russia. That's just how we are now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, no, we're not. No, we're not. But, you know, these other people, they're not in the know like we are, and I think they look at it through a different lens than we do. And I guess it would appear that way, you know? And if you're going to, like, again, Elon Musk running Twitter or X, hey, calling it that.
I don't think you have to call it that. You can call it whatever you want.
Call it whatever I want.
Yeah.
Space Boy's site.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, and that's very important, you know.
Yeah,
but
unless you speak out in favor of Palestine, or
of course.
you say anything bad about Tesla.
Oh my God. Okay, this is not here, but it just came, and we need to talk about it because you're a lawyer, and you're kind of a lawyer
Hey,
too.
there's Bo. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Bo's here. Hey, thanks for that glass of wine last night.
Bo's root beer makes me feel dizzy.
Yeah, that's all we did last night was just wine. And anyway, it was a lovely evening. So, no, this happened today, and I listened to it on the Midas Touch.
Yep.
Is that what it's called? They talked about, God damn it, I can't remember it now. It was very important. The guy from Columbia University that ICE came and picked up.
Mahmoud.
Put him in fucking jail. He's a
his name is
citizen. He's a legal citizen, and
That's
they took.
illegal.
That's illegal, and they took him out of.
It's actually not really complicated. It's just illegal.
That's nuts. Okay, so it's just like back in the George Floyd days. You know what I mean? When the riots and stuff, the black vans and the helicopters, they were going into Seattle and Portland and taking people right off the streets.
Straight up black bagged it.
Yes, and you know Dakota Adams, he ran for the House District in Eureka. He is Stuart Rhodes' son from the Oath Keepers.
Yeah.
We interviewed him a few times, and he told us that when that started happening, he started thinking that these Oath Keepers are just it's a farce. It's racist. He said he grew up fearing of these black trucks and helicopters coming and taking them away. Sure. Then when he saw it actually happen, it was against people protesting. Yeah. Holy fuck, that's Trump's America. And now we're doing it again?
I really think it'll be one of the biggest First Amendment issues of our time.
The Columbia University guy?
Yes, it is huge.
I mean, people are up in arms over this.
They should be.
I mean, what else? I know it's illegal. It's got to be illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are they doing it?
You can't arrest people because you've.
And he's just pro-Palestine. That's his deal, right?
Right.
They said he was handing out pro-Hamas flyers.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Ryan's right.
People
right?
fucking hand out Nazi literature here all the time.
First Amendment issue.
Yes.
Like the reality is that First Amendment issues are always complicated in the sense that they are deeply uncomplicated.
Right. This
right?
one
and
is
so
not
and so it's
complicated.
like actually it turns out that when you say things that other people don't like, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to say them.
Oh yeah, I'm still alive. I say a lot of things people don't like.
You're allowed to say things that people don't like, and you're allowed to do that without being incarcerated, and you're allowed to do that whether or not you're officially an American citizen, right? This is a person who had a green card. He is equally protected by the First Amendment.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I mean, like, you can't go around arresting people because you're mad about the things that they are saying.
But they're doing it.
Well,
yes,
sure.
they are.
They are doing it, but this is one of those things,
like the
right?
bully in
Sometimes
school.
what you see is the executive branch pushing against the rules that are supposed to hold them in place. And then we have a system that is intentionally created to create barriers and to restrict that type of action. So you have an executive branch that's overreaching, that's overreading its mandate.
Yeah,
and
we do.
And we have a judiciary whose responsibility it is to hold them in check, and a legislature, right? We have three branches of government. They're supposed to work together to make sure that when things are getting out of hand with one of them.
Do we trust all three of them right now? Do you?
I mean, what I would say is
I do not.
She might not want to answer that question.
I may not want to answer that question.
You're neutral. You're neutral on that one.
I'm neutral on that one. But what I would say is that we have a system that is intended to work against that push.
Yeah.
And that attempt to overreach. And I will tell you, I think that it is just the case that when you have concentrations of power, they naturally want to overreach. And you have to have a system that creates checks and balances and that works against that. And just to be really clear about this, right? Like we are in a moment in history that is different than many of the things that we've faced previously. It's not unique, but it's different. And what we have to rely on is the resilience of these institutions, and we also have to shore them up.
Yes.
We have to give them our support.
Yes.
Sam Alito would like a word with you.
Well, you know, I'd
like a couple.
love to chat with him.
A couple
We'd
words.
have a good conversation.
Paris, is this all working? Like live and the sound, everything this week? Everything's good? Okay, good. Last week we lost 10 minutes. That sucked. Because I had a really good joke, too.
I really just want to tell you guys that all I've been thinking about for the last like 20 minutes is the number 7 is a DEI situation, or whichever one it is, number 8, that replacing that's all I can think about is that it's a DEI joke.
Oh, the Butte,
Yeah.
the Lady of the Rockies.
Yeah. It's like the only thing I can think about.
Well, anyway, we're going to change it now and be a little softer because we can't do all politics and all that shit like that, you know what I mean? So we're going to talk about gay sex. I'm just kidding.
Bo's here.
Bo is here. That's right. He's my friend.
Already.
Good friend. No. We talked about, Bo and I actually talked about this last night. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this a topic. Adam Sandler movies.
We're
You're a
sorry,
big
Bo.
movie guy.
Okay.
I don't understand. Like, Little Nicky's my favorite.
Yeah.
Love that fucking
Yeah.
movie.
What are we talking about?
Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, we're getting,
Yeah.
you know. Well, the guy, apparently, so this is what Bo was telling me. He's the guy. He's the kingmaker in Hollywood.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
I mean,
Really?
Adam Sandler, that seems intuitively right.
Yeah,
He got Bob Barker,
he did.
and he punched him, which is cool. But so he is that guy.
He just seems like a genuinely nice guy.
He definitely seems like a genuinely nice guy like Will Ferrell, but Will Ferrell's funny. That's my opinion.
And Adam Sandler's not?
I don't know. I don't like a lot of his movies. I like Little Nicky a lot.
Okay,
What's
Little
the
Nicky's a
one
good
where
one.
he takes care of the kid?
Big Daddy.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, it's cute. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
The kid, he doesn't know what to do when he has to go to the bathroom and he ends up using a bunch of newspapers. It's like anyway. It's
Such
it's
a
really
sad scene when
adorable.
they're taking the kid away and he's like, I wipe my own ass. And he's like, I
No,
know you do,
what?
buddy, and he's crying. Oh, that's a great movie, Ed.
Ferris
Shoes
likes
was
it.
Ed, yeah.
Oh, really?
That's a great
Do you
movie.
like
All
everyone
right.
likes this movie?
Billy Madison, Happy
Billy
Gilmore.
Madison is such a good movie.
What?
Oh, that's
Billy?
a good
Oh, that's a
one.
golfer
He's got
one?
some serious ones too. He has Punch Drunk Love. He has Uncut Gems. Was a
Oh,
recent
you
one
know
that
what I
very
liked was
good.
the football one.
Oh, I haven't watched Uncut Gems.
The Longest Yard.
No.
he
No, that was
did
dumb.
not.
The Burt Reynolds movie was better. Waterboy, yeah.
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
Okay,
Waterboy.
No, they did a remake of The Longest Yard.
He sounds like Pete TJ, the pizza guy.
They ever catch that monkey that broke out of the zoo and punched you in your eye? That's a great movie. Yeah, you're dead wrong on this one.
Okay, I guess I am. I never really.
Dead wrong.
Are you a big Adam Sandler fan?
I mean, who isn't though?
Did you see him at the Oscars wearing the hoodie? That I respected. Because I'm the kind of guy that dresses like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I went to a wedding in a t-shirt. My girlfriend's like, I cannot fucking believe you. I'm like, what? It's outside. What's the big deal? I'm wearing my Elon Skis
I gotta
t-shirt.
be honest with you. Seeing the way that women need to go through like 1,000 layers of every single thing for
Yes.
all award ceremonies,
It would suck. to
I
be
am not a fan of the hoodie
would
as
suck.
a choice. Because here's the thing: if I get to wear a hoodie, if Billie Eilish might be our stand-in for Adam Sandler on this front, because I think she would wear a hoodie.
Oh, that's a woman.
Yeah, Billie Eilish. She's.
I didn't know that.
You don't know who
sings
Billie
a-
Irish is?
No.
Wow. Okay.
What
I
was
don't know
named
anything.
For
I don't
the
know what to
Barbie
do.
movie.
Ask my girlfriend. I'm really stupid. I listen to talk radio. That is, I do not listen to music. I mean, I'll throw on,
I mean, she's,
Rush
like,
or
really
Metallica.
famous and
And
was-
she's won.
Well, I know she's famous. I've heard
Yeah.
Oscars.
Not
She's an
Oscars,
actress.
Grammys.
Well, she
Or
won-
whatever the one is for the singing.
She won Best Song for Barbie at the Oscars.
Oh, that's
Okay, I
true.
didn't see
That's
that.
True. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, countless Grammys. Ed,
Countless Grammys.
we'll get
I
you
don't
there.
know.
We'll get
She's
you there.
been on SNL. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all about the person who can be both the musical guest and the actor on SNL, and Billie Eilish has done that.
Huh. I can tell everything you want to
Yeah,
know
she's a
about
badass.
Dan Abrams or Michael Smerconish or
She
Julie
wears-
Mason.
She wears like like big clothes.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
I thought she was a
wears
guy.
big
I thought it was a guy. I did.
Yeah,
Billy.
no.
She wears like
Is
triple
she
XL.
is she kind of ugly?
No,
Yes.
she's
No, she's
really
not
hot.
Really?
She's like super hot.
She wears
All
like
right,
triple
I
XL.
gotta
Yeah,
see.
no, you gotta see.
All right.
Like
Jinko
Billie Eilish
jeans.
is super
Billie
hot.
Eilish.
Eilish.
Eyelash? Oh wow, she's not ugly at all. What?
No.
What the fuck was I thinking?
Old
Yeah,
man
we
yells
don't
at
know.
cloud.
Holy
Right there.
smokes, that's
We're
her?
worried about
Yes,
you. Yeah,
that's her.
She's
Oh.
hot
That's
as
the
fuck.
multiple Grammy and Academy Award winning.
I stand
Nobody.
corrected.
Yeah.
I
Billie
stand
I know.
corrected.
And she's wildly talented. I mean, like she's hot, but the more important piece of information about Billie Eilish is that she's crazy talented.
If I didn't spend so much time playing Fortnite, I could probably watch some
If only.
TV.
Yeah.
If only.
I got 3 kills this morning. Or 3 wins, I mean. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm up to about 800 lifetime.
I don't know what that means.
Bo, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? Yeah, that's a good one.
What's
That's-
Billy Madison? I thought that was
I
the
don't
golf one.
remember.
Billy Madison is where he's gonna
It's the dancing one.
yeah, he's gonna be the
Oh,
heir to his dad's hotel company, but he has to go back to school, kindergarten through 12th
wait.
grade.
I was thinking of
Really?
the one where the kid learns how to be a ballet dancer. It's not
That's
the same.
Billy Elliot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Billy what? Okay, that's over my
He's
head.
Spider-Man. Tom Holland was
It's
Billy
okay, we're
Elliot.
doing a
Now
deep
he's
dive now.
Spider-Man.
You lost
All
me.
the Billies.
We are off the rails.
Billy Madison, Billy Elliot, Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Billy String, Steve Quinnell.
Billy String. Steve
come on up
Quinnell.
here, buddy.
He's in Indiana right now.
Is
His
he?
daughter plays third in nationals
Oh, wow.
in swimming
Oh, yeah, she's
in
a
college.
swimmer.
Yep. And I'm a big part of that. He tricked me into sponsoring her a bunch of years. Yeah.
thank you, Ed.
I know. Okay, let's get back to some serious stuff. I have a question, and I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but Riley doesn't trust that at all.
I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
She doesn't know.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Can I still be a liberal if I question DEI policy? Okay, and this is it's a larger question than that, but that's just what I came up with. But you can expand on that. Like I think my opinion is.
So what DEI policies specifically?
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm just saying that you got like say kind of a redneck dude like me that is pretty socially liberal, you know, and I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for Clinton. I voted for Bill Clinton, but I did not vote for a Democrat or Republican until Joe Biden in 2020. That's
Right.
I voted Libertarian.
Who are you voting for?
Libertarian Gary Johnson. I smoked pot with him and drank with him.
Writing his vote
Good
on a
guy.
piece of paper and blowing it into the wind.
And I live in Montana. Does it fucking matter who I vote for? You know what I mean?
Right
Like,
in Tasmanian devil.
Exactly. I wrote in my left part of my scrotum, actually. But, you know, I voted for Biden because I just didn't think Trump was good for the country, no matter what. You know, but let's get back to it. That say, you know, and you know, in my understanding of the DEI stuff federally, now they're getting rid of all of it. From what I've been told and what I've researched, it's not about taking an overqualified white person and putting a black person in that position at all, or a Latino or a gay person or whatever. You know what I mean? It seems as if though there is a quota to reach in government agencies, or no?
I don't know.
You know?
Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer to your question directly, but what I will say is that like so I went to Stanford Law School.
You what?
I went to Stanford Law School.
Jesus,
I
that
know.
sounds heavy duty.
Yeah, watch
well,
out.
God, look
Are
at,
you?
look
yeah,
at her taking.
yeah, take
come
your
on,
hat off. That's
Jesus
great.
Christ,
That's
I'm
great.
among.
Okay.
We read the same cases
No,
at
no.
Montana, okay?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Okay. But hold on. So
Montana lawyer.
Here's the deal. There are way more qualified applicants to go to Stanford Law School than there are seats in that class.
Then there are what?
Way more qualified applicants who could go and be wildly successful as lawyers, and they can't all fit in the class.
Right, of course.
Right? Now, the reason
That's one of
that
the
I
big
say
ones,
that-
Stanford, right? They
yeah,
gotta.
it's like important. It's
Yeah,
fine. It's whatever.
It's a decent one.
But the point is that it's the same across all these top law schools, right? Like Yale, Harvard, wherever else. Like,
Do they have DEI policies when it comes to students? Then
what they have is a desire to create
if they-
balance across the class.
if
It's
they're
not
private, who
DEI
cares?
Policies.
Oh,
It's, It is a desire to create balance across the class. You could fill that class with qualified people of color, no question.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, obviously.
It would not be an issue. What they are trying to achieve in the classes in law school is diversity, right? They want people from a lot of different backgrounds. They want somebody
and I think that's very important.
Totally. And I guess all I
because Hitler was wrong, right? He was wrong.
When we talk about like it's
For
such
now.
a weird term, like this idea.
It's a weird term.
It's a weird term, and it's a weird term that doesn't begin. It discounts the fact that all of us show up with imposter syndrome. Every single fucking person who comes to any law school class that's a top tier law school class is thinking, how did I get here? It must be because somebody gave me a leg up somehow. And by the way,
You mean people think that without knowing what that leg up would be?
do you know what they think? What I was thinking when I went to law school, though, is like the only reason they let me in is because I'm from Montana.
Well, you're pretty good looking too, Riley. I just say. I mean,
They didn't have a picture.
I don't know.
there's no big. Oh, okay. I get
see what
that.
I'm
Montana
saying?
that's diverse.
Totally. It's a form of diversity.
Like, oh my God, a hillbilly
That's-
from Montana.
But that's
Bring
what
her in.
DEI is,
Yes.
right? They want to make sure they've got somebody from Montana all the time in their school because you know
interesting.
what they want is they want to make sure they've got all 50 states represented.
But they had to make sure you were a liberal first, right?
No. They don't do that.
They're like from Montana.
I have been told by numerous people was like after you finish your law degree at Montana, you should apply to MBA programs on the East Coast, like
Yeah.
Harvard,
Yeah.
Yale, Columbia.
Really?
Because they
Absolutely.
because Montana.
Why'd you go to
Because
Chicago then?
Because it's DEI for Montana.
Because they look at Montana as very quaint and interesting.
Yeah.
You know, you're a cowboy or whatever.
Uh,
Oh, it's crazy.
Right, that's the
I've
point.
always said it's the state that everybody owns a T-shirt, but only half the people have ever been here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a very popular name, and it's well, now that's over. Now everybody's been here for sure. You know, like Riley, you're like 5th generation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I find weird is, and I'm sure you travel a lot, and you know, up until the pandemic, no matter where you went, where are you from? Whitefish, Montana. Huh? Never heard of it.
Oh, I would
Everybody
say
said
Montana.
that. And now, well, yeah, even Montana.
I
Huh?
just say
Where's that?
Montana.
Well, I'll say
I like to
Whitefish.
claim the whole state. I've tried to live
And
everywhere.
nobody knew at all where it was, and never even heard of it. Now,
Now what I
everybody
invariably
knows.
get is, oh my God, do you watch
Oh my
Yellowstone?
Yes, I know.
And it's like I haven't seen. I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't gotten around to watching.
I'm not
it yet.
opposed to it either, but I have not gotten around with it
I
either.
have
That's the truth.
Everyone asks me about this goddamn Yellowstone.
I got to get through Cobra Kai.
Okay.
That's back on. God, that's fucking
So have
stupid.
we cured you of your DEI fears, Ed?
No,
Okay. All right.
no. I'm just saying, how do you take a person that's a good person, okay, and you know, just a regular person that's like, you know what, I don't think gay people, the trans community, I don't think they should be fucked with so much because it's happening. You know what I mean? It's happening on a big scale. It's incredibly unfair. But you know, my macho-ness, my Montana in me says I got to vote Republican, even though, you know, financially I don't think they've done a whole lot for me or for a lot of people. But there's this thing that, like, how do you let people know it's okay to vote for a Democrat? And you know, it's been something that's been on my mind for a long time about this. Like, okay, you know, all the woke stuff and all this. You know, that's such a small percentage of people that really give a shit about some of this very weird stuff. But I think there's a lot of people that vote on the right that wouldn't if they weren't so afraid of what people thought of that because of what's on the TV all the time. You know, it makes you seem like you're this bleeding heart fucking weirdo, that you're supporting this thing that's so fucking weird, you know, but it's not.
You can vote Democrat and not tell anyone.
You could. Do you know that I learned this yesterday that your voting record used to be public in Montana?
I gotta. It's a side. It's a little. We're gonna take a tiny detour.
A what?
A tiny detour.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't have an opinion about whether or not men should vote for one party or the other. But what I do think is true, and I think the thing that you just said, Ed, is like leads to this, is that all of us are experiencing social media and information that we get through our phones.
Yes.
That is specifically targeted to us.
Yes.
So when you tell me that what you're seeing on TV is like a certain idea about like what it means to be a
Right.
man, I'm like, oh, because the internet and potentially the TV has targeted you as a person that believes a set of things, and they're either pushing back against those things, or they think you might be persuaded by something. And the thing that's so hard is it's like you could look around in this bar and there's a whole bunch of people that are very similar to one another. And everybody open up their
Everybody
Instagram,
except Bo, yep.
right? Like everybody's got Instagram on their phone. You open it up, every single person is going to have a different feed.
True.
And what they're going to have is a feed that is specifically targeted at them.
For that,
And
for what their likes
sometimes-
are.
Yeah.
Right, and sometimes it's going to be all about Star Wars and cocaine, but sometimes it's going to be all about like.
Mostly.
Weirdly, mine is like all about house renovation, and I'm
Because that's what you're doing.
But I'm not, right? Like I am now, but it's been targeting me this for like 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that the echo chamber of social media that you are given is not necessarily indicative of what's going on in the world. And
God, no.
Right.
No.
It's truly not.
It's really far from that,
But
to be
I
honest.
think that's the thing that we are experiencing is the internet is telling you that the only way to be a man is to vote for a certain party.
Yeah.
And that's fucking stupid.
It is stupid. That's what I think, but that's what I find with a lot of my friends, okay?
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that agree with me on a lot of things.
Like Lance.
But oh yeah, Lance for sure, without.
He has a few friends.
I have a few. and I have a lot of I mean, you live in Montana, you're going to have a lot of conservative friends. You just are. And to me, back in my mind, I'm like, you're just kind of fucking macho. And like, if you vote for a Democrat, you might support the gays. You know, that's a big fucking deal. How do we get over that hump where, because I believe there is a hump to get over. I really think that. I got, like when I'm talking to my friends and stuff, they still make fun of gay people. They'll use the N-word. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you guys are fucked up, But this is a way of thinking. But outside of that, they're on my wavelength with a lot of things.
Sure.
They appreciate that, I pay my employees well, that I'm not all greedy, and I'm not, there's things about me that make me pretty freaking liberal, But it's not to say that I've never voted for a Republican. In Montana, I have, without a doubt. And
Doug Adams.
I might again. Oh, yeah. No. Don't tell Dave Fern that. He fucking kicked my ass. Okay,
I think to Riley's point, yes, the algorithm is so strong, and the echo chamber in social media is so strong. And
it does. You're right. It'll control you to what your beliefs.
Yeah, I think where it really comes to light for me is after the Super Bowl, where you had all these people that were pissed off about the halftime show. And they talked about DEI and Kendrick Lamar.
I was in Las Vegas. I was playing
They were
cards.
like,
I didn't
Kendrick
see
Lamar
it.
was a DEI halftime show.
Oh, because it was all black people?
And it's like, look, say what you will about Kendrick Lamar, but he did just sweep the Grammys.
I don't even know who he is.
And labeling him as an unqualified
Also,
minority
like Billie
is
Eilish.
Yeah.
pretty
He
unfair.
doesn't know who anyone is.
So I think
I know Neil Young.
My point is, when you leave that bubble, that echo chamber,
Yes.
that social media
Okay.
bubble, and what you see on TV, like normal TV that's supposed to be for everyone, is not, cultivated for you individually. You see it as an attack.
So what you're saying is capitalism is the reason we're so fucked up. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me
Saying
out.
roll out the guillotine.
Well, how do you
Yeah.
get these people out of their bubbles? You don't, because corporate America wants them in that fucking bubble.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they do.
I said if I was president, my first line of business would be on Memorial Day, I would pull a giant lever and social media would be shut off, and I'd say, see you guys on Labor Day. And they'll turn it back on.
Right.
Because we need a break.
Give us a break. We need a fucking break.
Yeah, we need
What?
a break.
Freedom of speech.
What speech?
Freedom of speech.
Oh, freedom of speech. Yeah, you
I'm
can't
just
shut it down.
saying,
You're right. No, you're right.
I
and
love that for Ryan,
Yeah.
but it turns out that I don't think the answers are quite that simple.
They're not. You're right, because
In
freedom
this
of
fantasy,
speech.
I am a brutal dictator. So
But how can people? You're right.
it's all been suspended.
We need a cream ale up here. Cream ale. Oh, or a seltzer.
Yeah,
Oh, she's gonna pour Ryan a seltzer.
perfect.
Barkeep, cream ale. Mark Beck, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Beck. Thanks for coming by. Anyway, all right. I think that was a good. I think that was a good conversation. I think that was a good answer.
Thank you.
Because I never really looked at it that way. The bubble, what you're fed, and
it is-
and you go that rabbit
It's
hole.
designed that way. Because I'll
It's-
do it myself, where I'll be like, let's see what these ghouls in the right wing are up to, and I'll look at a Ben Shapiro video, and then I get bombarded with all these insane videos.
So I follow Charlie
I have to,
Kirk,
like,
Don
back
Jr.
in.
I follow Don Jr. That is fucking horrible.
Speaking of cocaine,
That guy's a retard, and he's gonna be. Sorry, I said the word retard. Well, again, I might be liberal, but I'm not super woke. I'm trying to cross that bridge. You know what I'm saying? America. Speaking of America, we're gonna change it real quick. I don't know if you know this, you guys. This was in the news.
Can't fucking say retard.
You just said retard, Joan. You did. Well, you just did. I'm blaming you now. Okay, hang on. Where is this? So this, dude, Texas. Did you guys see this? This Texas bill will make identifying as a transgender a felony punishable by jail.
I did see that.
Riley, that's got to
It
be unconscionable.
violates the First Amendment.
Again, why is Texas doing that? Why? They know it's illegal.
I gotta be honest with you. Like, I think the First Amendment is so fun because it protects all of the crazy people.
Richard Spencer.
It protects everybody from the people that you least want to sit next to in church to the people that you least want to sit next
Brian
to.
McDowell.
In Ed's bar. Like, the reality at the end of the day is that, like, everybody gets to say what they think. And do you know what drag is about? And by the way, trans people is different than drag, dressing and drag. But I would like to talk for a moment
And
about
the drag dressing is fine with me, as long as the guys cut their
beards. Do you know
beards.
what drag is about? It's about critiquing gender roles. It's about engaging.
It's not about weirdos wanting to wear dresses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's like maybe Ed wants to try a dress.
Maybe I do. I was going to wear a dress tonight. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
And
not
he
pretty.
wants to rock the like hardcore makeup. But like one of the most fundamental
girlfriend thinks I'd be an ugly woman.
pieces of drag is that it's not about being transgender, right? It's about expressing a view of society that is interesting and it's engaged with sort of what is going on around us. And like and then being a trans person is a different thing. That is something that is related to, like, does your soul match your body, and you get to decide what your soul says, and like we all.
Not in red states, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, you
in
do.
Montana, you sure do.
You have a lawsuit
And
about that right now.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: is like human beings exist. They exist whether or not we agree with the ways in which they represent themselves.
Damn it.
One way or the other, right? Like that's it.
Foiled again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they exist.
Sorry to say.
Well, it's something that, I mean, you know, states like Texas, like I follow the Idaho legislature, and we think it's bad in Montana. We're not as bad as Idaho. Holy shit. Yeah. They only got like 6 Democrats in their Senate or something. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, 6, way too many, dude. I mean, they are stripping people of rights left and right. Yeah. In Montana, you know, we have a lot of rights that have been stripped from us, and not everybody can afford to sue the state of Montana. Like, I'll give you a real quick one. The marijuana industry, when you sell an ounce of weed for $100, and this is where the bill's written. If you discount that to 50% for veterans still have to pay the full 26% tax on the $100. That is unconstitutional. It's very unconstitutional. You're paying tax on something that you did not buy. But in the marijuana industry, nobody has the money to go and hire Jim Getz or you guys or somebody.
Well, you know that we don't cost any money.
Huh?
Zero money.
Well, yes, but you're not going to take this one up. You know what I mean? This would be something we'd have to pay to do it. But I see that winning in court, saying, okay, I can bring 100 people of my customers that have all to pay the tax on a full retail after it was discounted. That is wrong. But Montana did it because they could. And you know what? They do that shit in the last week of the session. I mean, it sucks. Doesn't it? I bet you don't even know that happens, Riley, do you?
I'm literally
It's not part of your world.
I'm laughing because I just want to say Jim Getz is very expensive and we are free.
Yeah, Jim Getz is very expensive. We used him once.
You got 2 free lawyers on the stage tonight.
Well, but I don't want to wait 7 years because, you know, I mean, things are going to keep coming.
Ryan, do you litigate?
Oh, yeah, all day, every day.
That's what he does.
Who do you sue?
I'm a public defender.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I bet you would, liberal.
Oh, get out of here! What are you doing?
I'm just kidding.
None of that.
I'm just kidding. You know, when I talked to you earlier, you know, about the Constitutional Roadshow, I did think about it. I was like, this is important. It's very important that people know what's going on because, like, you are somebody that's, and you'll tell people later how in love you are with that Constitution. I mean, I think you probably sleep with it at night, don't you?
Probably what now?
You sleep with the Montana Constitution every night. You are in love with it.
No question asked.
There's no room for men in your life. You've got this. It's all you need. But I think it's very special, and we have provisions in our Constitution that nobody else has. Like, it's special, but
37 of them.
37 of them to be in fact.
Yeah.
And we've got lawmakers that just do not want anything to do with a lot of it, and it's freaking me out. It is. Well, we'll get into that in a little while. Let's talk about this before we're going to bring Mike Joke back up here to talk about Montana politics with the crew here, but this is something, Kevin, was it your sister-in-law that works in education? Remember that email by the DEI? So the U.S. Department of Education launches NDEI portal. So did you,
Come up here.
Riley, is this legal?
He literally just
I
walked
don't
in the
know.
door.
I need a lot of
There's our
information.
producer. He's late.
It turns out, so like
You
as
owe
lawyers,
Paris.
one
He
of the
smells
things,
like rum, and he's
one
late.
of the
Yeah, he
things
smells like
that we
rum.
need in
And
order
butt sex.
to make decisions about
Bo.
what is legal and what
He was
is
with
not, there's
Bo.
a lot of facts. So I don't know the answer to the question.
What?
And I need more information.
Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah, I haven't got there yet. So they're ending the DEI portal, and and they want you to report any teacher. They're going to reward you for telling on somebody.
Okay, so what?
Wait, yeah, what?
So the Department of Education sent out an email to every person.
Teachers?
Let me finish.
All right. I can't do that.
Yeah, it went out to every organization that gets government funds from the Department of Education. So what it did was like, so you can tattletale on your friends if your organization has DEI policies. And then that way, that's how they were going to decide if that organization gets money or not.
What are we doing?
It's
Why?
Yeah.
It's crazy. One of my buddies is a teacher, and he was telling me, he's like, it's all so crazy. They think I spend my entire day, telling my students to chop their penises off.
Right,
It's really
yes.
just,
Yep.
It's really just getting them off their phones.
Right.
Like, that's my job.
I bet
It's
that's
like,
the hardest
these
part.
Goddamn phones. It's like they're always on them.
I mean,
I know that there are schools that don't allow them, and I fully support that.
Yeah, that should be the
I do. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't. Like, well, we have
was a
teachers.
nightmare enough in
We
high
have
school, I
teachers
can't
here
imagine.
that let parents come into the classroom and fucking braid their kids' hair and shit
Yeah,
while they're
Steve
in
Quinnell.
class. Steve Quinnell, yes. Oh God, he makes me sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, because that was weird. It's really weird that they use these as a guide to identify potential areas for investigation. Like they're taking. It seems to me they're taking this too seriously.
It's all about control now, right? So now
Yeah.
they have control, and they're willing to do whatever they want to push their issues, and that's what they're trying to do. So instead of letting people make their own decisions on how their funds need to be done,
Right,
because
which they
they're
should.
actually taking care of children. No, it's how we want to do it, and that's it.
This is the small government we've all been hearing so
Oh,
much
yeah.
about.
Oh,
All
very
about
small.
it, yeah.
Okay.
I love
That's
small
it.
government.
Exactly. We all love small government. That's another fallacy.
I
that
actually so here's the thing. When we talk about the notion of a small government, like one of the things is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you hamstring the government in a way that prevents it from being able to do the services that it is meant to do,
Yes.
what you are going to create is a situation in which they cannot do those things. And we need certain things to live in the government. And this is a very basic sort of like, it comes from the Constitution. The Montana Constitution has educational provisions in it that talk really specifically about this idea that like our public education system is absolutely required to work. Like this is not an optional, this is not a like, oh, we opted in and decided we were going to do public education. Absolutely not. We have guaranteed every child in the state of Montana will have access to an equal and quality educational opportunity. The reason I say this is because when you hamstring government programs that provide public goods, they will be less able to perform the services that they are required to do. But one of the theories that you find in court, right? So you sue somebody because they're not providing the level of services that is required constitutionally or by statute. You cannot use as an excuse the fact that you don't have enough money.
Yep.
Now, to me, what that means is the legislature is required to adequately fund not only public education, but all other government services that the government must provide.
Right.
And
They
and
have
so
to.
the notion of
Public
small government,
defenders.
like listen, public defenders, 100%.
Well, you shouldn't get
Constitutionally
anything.
mandated.
To be
right?
clear, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have government that respects our individual liberties and
Without
our
a doubt.
privacy and our ability to make choices about our own freaking lives.
Yes.
Right? But
I'm not
we
against
also
somebody
need
sending a kid to a
government
private
that
school.
is
I'm against the state funding that.
100%.
Well,
Right.
and something to think about is like with the Disabilities Act, what is it, 76, when the Disabilities Act?
Yeah.
Yep.
So with that, it's so I saw something on Friday in Missoula at Lewis and Clark Elementary. I actually went to an elementary. My girlfriend's a teacher there.
Aren't you on that list?
And
You
I
shouldn't
went
go
to-
there.
Yeah, I can't go there.
You saw that. You're
But
going to say
they're
that.
Expunged.
They're the only school in the state that that does sign language. So there's like
Oh, as a
20
class?
Where is this?
Lewis and Clark Elementary.
Oh, that's
and
super cool.
So like people will fly in from Seattle to Missoula so their child can learn from professionals and sign language.
What?
So I'm at this assembly.
So liberals aren't that bad.
And they
Missoula's
had
all
an
right.
assembly the entire time somebody's signing, and it was phenomenal. I had a riot, and like
Wow.
listening to all these kids sing, like that actually gave me hope in the world.
So-
is listening to this
so
and seeing this.
Teaching deaf children to communicate, is that the equity or the inclusion?
That's
So-
inclusion.
So
I guess if they're, it could be
But with the
diversity
disabilities
It could be
Act,
diversity. It is
they
diversity.
are
too.
like you can get sued for not being able to provide the proper care for a student.
Yeah, it's called,
Yeah.
it's called an
And
IEP,
as you should be.
individual
If-
education
if
program.
you're going to take away the funding, then you're opening to get sued automatically right away. And no, the school districts already don't have any money. And now what are they supposed to do when they're
So,
getting sued?
okay, again, with the unconstitutional things that not only Montana does, all these states, the federal government, a lot of things, times, they get away with it because people don't have the funds to do something about it, you
Happens all
know?
the
And,
time.
and that, you know, to me, is just like, it's sad. It's sad that we, in my experience in Montana politics, you have an office that you submit your bill to, and that office is called the Office of Political Practices, and it comes back to you and says, you've got to change this and this. This is not constitutional.
Sounds
That's
woke.
fucking gone.
Sounds woke.
Last session, that was gone. Like, they're like, yeah, sign it anyway, approve it anyway. That's blowing my mind, because that's telling me that, okay, fuck it, if they want to sue us, go ahead. At least we're going to try to get away with it. There is, 50, 60 bills from the last session that are under scrutiny and in lawsuits? Holy shit. Because how many do you have? Your firm.
Oh, well, we've filed roughly 21 lawsuits since our founding in 2021.
This is a great
We
segue.
And
won
Graybell's at like
most of
30.
them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Graybell's got like 30, right? Isn't it? No? Oh, I thought he.
I'm
it's-
sorry, but
17.
you think that Rafe has filed more lawsuits than I have? Thank
No,
you very
no,
much.
no.
That is not
Well,
the
with his
case.
firm or whatever.
Fuck Rafe.
Yeah, fuck Rafe. That's
I
it.
fucking love Rafe, but no, he has not filed more
Okay.
lawsuits than I have.
Oh,
Thank
I
you very
just,
much.
we were talking about Ryan about it at one point, and I think it was like he like won a bunch of them, you know, and so have you, and I think
we've actually only lost one of those.
of how many?
11 or.
Wow. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to give Kevin a break. He's going to go back to the thing. We got a dongle or
Back to the deck.
What's it called? Thumb drive with her slideshow. Paris knows where it is. You got the remote in front of you. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Mike?
Huh?
We need Mike though first.
A microphone?
No, Mike.
Mike jokes.
No, yeah, no. Joe Peck's coming up now. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about this Montana stuff first. We're gonna bring Ed O'Neill from Modern Family up here with us tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Mike knows who Ed O'Neill is. Do you, Mike? You remember Al Bundy? Do you? So on our TikTok, on one of the videos, it says the guy's like, I don't know much, but I know Ed O'Neill from Modern Family's right on this one. It was.
He does, I see it now. That he
I
said that,
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I did not see it.
Yeah.
But now I see it because with the glasses on and the camera, the close-up, I'm like, holy fuck, he
Ed
looks like
O'Neill
Al
was
Bundy.
also in the movie Dutch, if you ever saw that
Dutch,
movie.
yep. And he's an incredibly handsome human being. Mike should
Right.
be proud.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, handsome, very handsome.
I got my mic on here.
I don't know. No, is it on? I don't know. Look on top.
I don't think it's.
You got to switch it towards you.
Wait, no, hold on. Towards you, and then
Okay, there it goes. All right. So, anyway,
Turn me up, Kevin.
turn him up. Okay, you know what?
Turn 'em
Mike's got his own shit this week. He actually did his homework.
I got a bunch of stuff for you too. I went to that Powers and Fern
Oh, yeah, I was there. Yep.
town hall, that transmittal town hall that they're
Trans. I can't believe. Yeah, whoa, 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 whoa.
transmittal.
transmittal.
Hey, that's about the only
Okay.
trans world.
I'm boycotting all transmissions. I told you that.
too, me
I'm not
too.
driving a car with transmission ever again. But go ahead.
I went to that, and there was like 200 people there.
Dude, I could. So when I walked in, I saw Fern.
Yeah.
I go, hey, Dave. He goes, hey, Ed. I go, I thought there'd be 20 fucking people here. He goes, me too.
Oh, yeah, no, the same thing happened
Yeah.
in Butte. Butte was packed, too, and Lakeside.
Lakeside was
packed,
packed, you
Bozeman
said?
packed, yep.
And you go, Dave,
Yep, just
quiet,
got
my
word from
ears.
Bozeman.
Jesus,
I mean,
stop
Bozeman was
yelling.
packed. I mean, people are turning out. There's something brewing out there.
You know what? And I mean, I don't know everybody, obviously, but in that crowd, I mean, there was probably some Republicans there. I don't know, because the Republicans aren't really doing a whole lot. So I think people that are political are going to go to these town halls because they're political. They want to ask questions. They
Oh, yeah,
want to hear what they're
I
doing.
mean, I heard Kevin talk about, Senate Bill 525, where you put the preacher
Yes.
man in the public schools.
I can't believe Fern voted for that. I was
I
pissed.
think he's the only Democrat.
He's the only Democrat did, and he said, well, it's his olive branch. I'm like, Dave, you could choose a different hill to die on. My God. Clergy as a school counselor? I'm sorry. Those people should be kept away from children. I'm just
Separation
saying.
of church and state.
Separation of church and state, the pedophilia, all that stuff, Oops, forgot. I shouldn't bring that up.
Just
Only Democrats are
separation
pedophiles.
Right.
of Church and state.
Separation of church and state. That's what
I'll
I'm
be
saying.
okay with the preacher man, but the Mormon bishop? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting my kids into some pyramid scheme or they're going to lose all their money to the Mormon church. That's for
Multi-level
damn sure.
marketing. We've been over this.
Multi-level
Yeah.
marketing. Yeah. Jason Ellsworth, our old Senate president, he knows a lot about that. He's been actually under an investigation right now.
But I didn't hear anybody talk about any of those town halls about how many of these legislative leaders they're sending to the audit division. I mean, look, they sent Ellsworth over to the audit division. They sent him to the legislative ethics committee.
And Regeer's in ethics now.
Oh, yeah, but they also sent Ellsworth to the Montana Department of Justice, and then they sent Regeer, like you said, into the audit committee. And so, they're auditing the past president of the Senate. They're auditing
The current president. And it's two Republicans, two Democrats on this, right? I'm pretty sure.
Is this what Regier called a witch hunt recently? Is that what I saw a headline in the paper.
course he would.
But I was out of free articles on the
discuss? I'm
Daily
gonna use the
Interlake,
little
so I
boys'
could
room.
just read the.
Back in 2023
Yeah.
and trying to figure out how to pay him, and then they had that bill that
Okay.
he couldn't pass to find the funds, but somehow they did. I don't know. Maybe it came out of the governor's slush fund. I mean,
Right.
he does. I mean, that's where Ellsworth got all that money to
Yeah.
run that make justice partisan committee.
God.
Governor gave him $500,000, and he's tried to spend 170,000, not million.
So you mentioned Senate Bill 525.
Yeah.
So House Bill 39, it repeals a ban on political parties contributing to candidates.
Yeah, it's the party judges.
Okay. And then Senate Bill 42.
No, go back to that. That's where they make the justices partisan themselves. And that's one of the committees. That came out of that committee that the Gov used that slush fund for that committee.
Is it going to pass?
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of these things that are terrible do pass. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean we can't reverse it.
It's what?
It doesn't mean we can't reverse it. Just because the legislature passes a bill that does something that people are unhappy with, it doesn't mean that we're stuck with it. And you can push back against those types of things with referendums and things like that. And I can't remember the term for it. I've been calling it a rejection referendum, right? But you can do that. And I think that particularly the partisan judicial elections is something that is demonstrably wildly unpopular.
Yeah.
And so we ask ourselves, well, maybe the people of Montana will decide that that's not something that they want, even if the legislature decides to pass it.
But isn't it interesting
It
how
really is the Republicans in the legislature. I mean, we got to be clear about
Yeah.
it. The Democrats really aren't voting for this stuff.
But isn't it interesting that the judicial elections, they kind of take a partisan bent anyway?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I mean, even like that Senate Bill 42, I mean, now they
I
want
totally
the
disagree
parties
with that.
to endorse the judges.
And it's like, and I don't know. I mean, I know Judge Dan Wilson because I appear in front of him all the time. I don't know if he's a Republican or a Democrat, but I do know that when I would see a Gianforte sign, a Tim Sheehy sign, and a Ryan Zinke sign, I almost always saw a Dan Wilson sign.
Yeah.
And the same is true on the other side for, Bittigary. So I think people kind of figured it out after a while. They were like, oh, I don't really know much about Catherine Bittigary. I think she's a judge over in Great Falls or
Although
something.
you notice, of course, that Kathleen Bittigary won, and also that Corey Swanson won, and the sign alignment that you're talking about definitely wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really important to keep in mind that judges genuinely are intended to be nonpartisan.
Yeah.
Like
And
their
Swanson supports
role
that.
within the system is to be unbiased. And so, what is this? It's an attempt to try to push the system in a direction that allows the other branches to play by a different set of rules.
Are we
It's-
talking about the
We're talking about partisan judicial elections.
Yeah.
42.
Right? And the thing, but I think it's just really important. Like I appreciate the idea that like sure sometimes you see alignment,
I mean, there's 18-year-old sponsoring
but
the
it
bill.
doesn't mean that you see the same outcomes. And part of the reason for that is that those judicial candidates, they are not supposed to be partisan. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? Like when we run with an R or a D, if you've red team, blue team behind your name, you're really presenting voters with a different question than if you aren't doing that. And if you instead they're going and they're looking at like what are the things that you're saying about what you're going to do when you are a judge. And I just so I push back against the idea that like somehow it's the same thing to have the partisanship signaled to us on the ballot.
I
than
think it was signaled to us at no fault of Judge Wilson or Judge Bittigary. I think
Sure.
it just kind of
Absolutely,
happened that
or
way.
Lynn Shore Swanson,
Yeah.
right? Like I think there's.
I think they just got co-opted and all of
one
a
way or
sudden-
the other.
Yeah.
Like also, I think oftentimes the people who are deciding who to support with their money, like sometimes they pick someone and they may or may not know whether or not that person aligns with them,
Yeah.
right? And we've seen that
My
time
parents
and time
don't.
again.
They ask me. They go, "Who should I vote for? These
Yeah.
judges? I don't know these people."
I saw when
I go,
Corey
"Well,"
Swanson
I was
actually
like, they all
supported.
treat me like dirt.
Did he support keeping it by?
You know,
He
Corey
supported
Swanson has,
keeping it
has
nonpartisan.
spoken out against
Against it.
Chief Justice.
Which that surprised me.
Swanson.
It surprised me because
Yeah.
he was a lawyer defending a person that bought up a bunch of land, private land surrounding public land. You know, like. So I didn't think he was that good of a guy. I thought Jerry Lynch would have been a much better choice, you know. And I think Jerry's a great guy. Like, again, I met Jerry. I didn't meet Corey. So when you meet somebody,
It always changes your mind.
So that's another thing I talk about a lot. That like I've emailed Matt Regier a bunch, and I'm a business owner for 25 years in
You
this
CC'd
state, in
me
this
on those
valley.
emails, yeah.
Did I CC
Yeah,
you?
you did.
I'm like, and I'm just like, listen, I want to talk to you about certain issues.
No.
You know, I don't get. And here's what I'll tell you: I've been emailing legislators since 2011. Since 2011, I've emailed legislators in Montana. I've had one Republican return an email. Every Democrat has returned every email I have sent them.
Who was
So
the
that says a lot to me. It was some guy out of like Eastern Montana that I just copy and pasted his email about a bill that I wanted him to kill it or be against it, and I meant to send it to Courtney because he's not at all anywhere near where I live, you know.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't think I'm in your district, but thanks for caring about politics in Montana. And I'm like, that's really nice. I thought that was the only Republican that's ever emailed me back. Actually, oh no, Braxton Mitchell emailed us back. No.
Said goo goo gaga.
One word. No.
But they want to make the parties want to make the justices partisan. You know, they
Yeah,
want
they do.
people.
They
They
do.
really do. I mean, the Republicans.
Because they want
Oh,
to
yeah,
make it,
they really
want to
do.
make it clear exactly what I was talking
Yeah, you know, they're
about. They
not
want a
happy
D
with
or an
that. You
R
look at,
behind
like,
someone's
the
name.
next bill, 385. You didn't put that on your list, but that's the one that lets the governor appoint.
Oh, yes.
The next constitutional court.
What the fuck is
the
that?
governor
Yeah.
appoints
How is
from
that-
from his folks who's going to decide what your rights
Is
are,
that
and they're
still
gonna
alive?
spend
Is that-
$8 million.
is that
Oh, yeah,
still
no,
alive?
That's past 28, 22 Senates in Senate Finance and Claims right now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
He
they're-
already
they're
gets to
look-
appoint the judges, so.
Fuck.
Those are your constitutional rights. The governor is going to appoint who decides.
Yep.
So they're also making it extremely impossible for an independent to run for office anymore.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about this
Makes
before.
sense.
And yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Well,
what the fuck, you
if
know?
I'm thinking from their point of view, it
Of
makes a
course,
lot
from
of
their
sense.
point of view, it's like, hey, as long as we got an R, we don't have to do interviews. You know, they'll go on Montana Talks. And I don't know if any of our listeners listen to Montana Talks. I think you should, at least once. It is fucking stupid.
Where do you find it?
So I listened this morning, and I haven't listened to it in months. It's Ray Queen Station, you know, Benny B, the 880.
106.3.
No, 8:80 a.m.
KJR.
It's every morning, 3 hours. But it's just like Trump, blaming Biden for everything every fucking day. Dude, we know Biden's the worst president we've ever had. Okay, set in stone. He's fucking done. You're president now. Stop this. That you just gotta stop. But on Montana Talks, Aaron Flint, which I used to have respect for, woke ass John Tester. Every day they bitch about John Tester still. He's gone, man. We got the Sheehy. You got the transvestite you wanted. You got the Sheehy. Stop talking about the Tester.
American
He's done.
Warrior.
American Warrior.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior,
You've been listening to
goddammit.
Tester on his podcast?
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
His last session was
Yeah,
good.
I
He's
haven't.
talking
It's
about
good.
the PACT Act. They got that PACT Act passed.
Yeah, yep.
And, they fired all those employees that they hired at the Veterans to implement the PACT Act.
Like, why doesn't Tester run for governor?
Yeah.
Good luck, Knutson.
Oh, God. That would be sad. Oh.
Dude, I think that'd be great.
Well,
Schweitzer can run again.
Until
Schweitzer
election
can
night.
run again, and he was on our show not long ago. He's
Schweitzer
pretty
ain't running
spry.
again. He
No,
ain't
I know he
running
does not
again.
want to,
There's no way.
but I bet he'd win. I mean, he's like that kind of guy. I don't know.
But what about this bill from Schubert?
Dude.
What do you guys? House Bill 609. If you're pregnant, you can't leave the state.
Yep, abortion is trafficking. Prohibit abortion trafficking.
That's
What in the
crazy.
fuck? So and again about Schubert, he's 18 years old or 19 now maybe.
Yeah.
He replaces Tony Brockman that got 16 bills passed. Schubert's not going to get any bills passed.
No, they
And I
killed
love
that
his
bill, yeah.
Facebook. I had 27 Republicans vote against this bill because it's stupid. And it was Don Kay's bill. You are little Don Kay. That's who Lucas Schubert is. His strings are being pulled by Don Kay. That's my opinion, but I think that's how it is. Because he's fucking 19 years old. He doesn't know anything about this shit, man.
He's sponsoring a lot of bills, though.
A lot of bills,
He's
of
pretty
course.
active, yeah. Him and
Very
Mitchell.
ambitious young man.
One of
Mitchell.
the best ways to learn is to practice.
Yeah, right.
That's what we keep doing here. I think we're up to 7 viewers today. I mean, Riley's here. You got to think we're up to 7.
Oh, at least. I think we had 7 this week for
8
sure.
if we're
8,
lucky.
great.
I don't want to tempt, but
We've had
We get to
19,000 views on Instagram in 3 shows
Get outta
and
here.
31 on TikTok, I
No
think.
way.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, that's just it's not full episodes.
Yeah.
It's clips.
Right. But Schubert and Mitchell, they had that other bill, too, that next one you listed. 555, the abortion pills. Can't bring them into Montana.
Oh my God, I know. At least that died. At least it died.
Yeah, both
And the
Schubert
fatherhood at
bills died.
conception, that died, thank God. I mean, and what made me happy and kind of proud to be in Montana was all the anti-LGBT bills pretty much failed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zoe Zephyr at all.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing testimony. It was amazing, and I don't care.
She did do
You know,
a
if
good
you're
job.
one of these hardcore redneck like Brad Abel types that hates gays and blacks, I'm just kidding. It's
Lot
just
of-
blacks.
Mostly blacks. Yeah.
It's mostly blacks.
Yeah.
That has to pull your heartstrings. You have to understand where this person's coming from. It's just not a joke. It's not. I mean, live and let live. Like I posted something on Facebook the other day about making it be if you identify as a transgender, it's a felon, or they want to make it a felony in Texas.
Wild.
What happened to live and let live? And why are the
Well,
Republicans?
You saw some Republicans actually stand up on
They
that
did.
bill. Yeah,
They
I
did.
think
I
it
was very
Espen,
proud
I
of
think
them.
It was, yeah.
In fact,
And said
those-
they're a good parent. Leave
I
them
will
alone,
donate to their campaigns.
What you got to understand that is constitutional rights, they start with me, but they end with you.
They sure do.
Sorry.
You're goddamn right.
Sorry
they
about
do.
that.
You know what?
Sorry.
I spent like $6,000 in campaign contributions this last cycle.
To Lucas Schubert?
Ed, why
Yes.
are you not
Yeah.
an Upper 7 supporter?
What?
I'm calling you out right now because if you spend
Because the
$7,000
candidates needed my money to lose, apparently.
And I'm just saying we're a nonprofit 501c3. You can definitely make contributions
I
to
never
us,
write
and
any of
you
it off.
can just go ahead and write it
All the
off.
donations.
Ed is
All
on
right.
record.
Right here, just put it right
Ed's
here.
going to make a donation to Upper 7 Law. He is on record. Yeah, get out that wallet, pal.
There we go.
There we go.
I don't have a lot of cash on me right now.
Open that till, Bo.
Audrey takes cash.
Normally I do. I'll find some for you. We'll give you money tonight. In fact, if anybody makes a donation to
Ed'll
Upper
match
7
it.
tonight, I will buy you a beer. I will buy you a 20-ounce beer. Bartenders hear that.
That's a good
Except
deal.
Bo. Except
It's a
Bo.
good
He gets
deal.
enough free beer here. Get
Bo,
your wallets
Bo
out.
gets all the free beer.
Donate to Upper 7.
I'll buy Bo a beer.
It's very important to donate to Upper 7 and these advocacy law groups, though, because they are the ones that make it possible for everybody in Montana to live the life they want, not just one type of person. And honestly, that's where we're fucking going right now, is the one type of person can be somebody.
Yeah. But we're talking about Schubert and Mitchell. We can't leave Sprunger out of this.
Sprunger, yes.
She's got that bill, House Bill 228. That wants to charge you $630 for a paternity test, and the fiscal
Fatherhood
bill
at
even
conception.
Yeah, fiscal note says this service is considered an invasive prenatal test. That's what the legislative fiscal service is. They want to charge you $630 to make sure that you're the daddy.
That is, Mike, you know what? It was goofy when you were a legislator, but
Oh, it's goofy. Yeah, I was part
but
of it.
this is fucked up. What's going on now? These last two sessions. Like I was talking to Riley earlier. I'm like, I'm surprised. And I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember being like, they had the supermajority. We could have done something. What was it? I forgot. You remember?
Oh, well, the amendments to the Constitution.
Oh, amending the Constitution. Instead of having a constitutional convention, which is, I believe, they want in 2030, and our audience needs to know this, that every 20 years we vote on our Constitution to change it or not. And we have not changed it.
It was real close last time.
It was close. Oh, no, it was. And it's going to be really close in 2030.
Might pass.
Unless, now here's my belief. I think the Republicans feel very safe that the people that are moving to Montana are moving here because they're moving to a red state for a reason. And the exodus from blue and red states to red and blue states is real in America. This is something that I don't think a lot of people really realize or pay a lot of attention to, but we're being divided every day, way more importantly than you think we are by the media. We're being divided by where we're moving. We're moving to places where people think like us. Now,
well, it's not only that. I mean, it's pocketbook issues. You can't afford to live in places like New York City. You
Or
can't
Montana.
afford to live in places like San Francisco right now.
Or Rikers, Montana.
And so people
Palo
are moving for
Alto.
economic reasons as well.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. But, like, you know, I'm looking for somewhere to live. A guy like me, that I find myself pretty down
Have
the
you
middle.
tried Havre?
You know, I'm not a big fan of the wind.
All right.
Haber has it.
They have a lot of
Penicillin
Indians,
cures it.
too.
Have at it.
But I think it's just, like, I would live in California. I just don't want to be around that many people. But I think California offers a lot, and I don't care about it costs, you know, that kind of shit. You always make it work. I mean, there's poor people in California. There's poor people everywhere. And to be honest, I can buy a home like mine that I have in Whitefish in La Jolla for cheaper.
Yeah.
La Jolla is fucking beautiful.
You know,
it's cheaper than fucking Whitefish.
People talk shit about
what?
People talk shit about California until you go to Palm Springs once in February.
And you're like, damn, it's 84 degrees.
Do people up north know this place? It's 88 degrees right now.
I mean,
It's February 3rd.
Okay, we're just like,
That's
I
crazy.
get it, you're a snow hater. We love our snow, man.
No, I love snow. I love it. But for a couple weeks in February, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Listen to
you
this one.
got, You got Fuller and Glim, SRJ 15, no gay marriage.
Right. Yep. Still trying.
Is this the
Still
Alberta
trying
film?
that. They're going to try that every session,
No,
of
they nailed
course.
that bill.
They
Yeah,
will.
But that was Fuller and Glim. You got the next one with Schubert and Amy Regier and Mitchell, no drag queens.
I know. Again.
That died too.
Yeah,
And that's a
died
First
too.
Amendment
We
thing,
also
too.
have it
That is-
preliminarily enjoined.
If there ever was a First Amendment issue, it is that the drag.
You know,
Indeed.
I don't understand the chromosome biology in the changing rooms and the bathrooms. And, like, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Yeah, I don't understand I don't want to go to the bathroom with your 12-year-old daughter. I don't. But if I had to, because of some liberal place I went to, I could do it and not want to, you know, have a relationship with this 12-year-old girl. I
You
think
do it
that's
all the time. It's called going to a friend's house.
True. You're right. You're right. My friends with kids.
Right.
Or slaves. You know, if I'm at Goga's house,
I've never
it's
understood
different.
the issue. And I guess my big issue with that is why are they passing the buck onto you to regulate this law?
I don't know that.
Now you have to you have to follow
Yeah.
someone into the bathroom.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about House Bill 121.
House Bill 121,
Okay,
your
okay,
standard
okay.
bathroom bill.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like-
Standard
Yeah.
bathroom bill. Because that's what they
As one
are.
does.
You know, and
That's what
okay.
they are, you know?
I have all sorts of issues with it. One, who cares?
Oh, yeah,
If you
is
go
this-
to a friend's house, you know,
Mike, did you-
anyone from any sex uses the same bathroom. Who gives a shit?
I know. Well,
And the
I've
second
said,
thing that
like I
pisses
said,
me off
I
is
will
it-
share a bathroom with Dylan McVaney than some fat redneck, without a doubt. I would. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
she smells a lot better than
Right.
Jimbo Bob.
And then it just pushes it onto you, the business owner, to
to
enforce,
enforce
this.
it, which I would not.
And it's like, it's just so stupid.
It's stupid. Were you talking about Joint Resolution 15?
15, yeah,
Yeah.
Fuller Glim. I mean, almost all of these are flathead Republicans.
Is this the
And they're all flat.
Federal
You're
line?
right.
No gay marriage.
Yeah.
Guys.
No gay marriage.
Nope, can't do that. Nope, the gays cannot have love.
We're coming
no.
for Loving v. Virginia next, the interracial marriage case. We're going to get that one next.
But that was defeated
It was defeated.
That was defeated.
by
Yeah. All three of
incredible,
these, yeah.
beautiful testimony.
But,
like
you know,
people talking all about the value of allowing people to get married, and also talking about sort of the profound experience that right, like I don't mean to make it too serious, but like Obergefell is a Supreme Court decision that protects the right of people to marry the people that they love.
Yes.
And it's
That's
not.
that's what they want to overturn.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the case.
totally.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
the
not
case.
super. It's not super
And
complicated.
why do they
to say
care?
That so many people showed up that it was difficult to allow them all to speak because
Really?
they yeah. It was.
Wow.
I mean, like this is a bill that like, or this is a resolution
Yep.
that would have said basically like we disagree with this, and they withdrew that because so many human beings showed up in Helena to talk about it and to talk about what it meant for them, that they were persuasive to the legislature. And I appreciate, you know, I'm sort of I'm the odd woman out because like I don't want to talk about the politics of all of it, but what I want to say really clearly is like human beings testified to the fact that like we should be allowed to marry the human beings that we love. And that was
Yes.
really clear, and it was persuasive to the legislature.
Who cares, right?
I mean, right, exactly. Who
Well,
cares?
I don't know why they care. I mean, and I brought this up before too. It seems as if 20, 30
They
years
care
ago,
less this legislature than last legislature.
Yeah.
like you had liberals 20, 30 years ago really getting in your shit. You know, you did. And it kind of pissed Americans off. They're like, they didn't like that, you know?
No, this is a privacy
But
issue.
now it's the Republicans doing it.
Right.
It's switched in the last 20, 30 years, completely switched from the liberals being in our bedroom, in our lives, to Republicans now, these smaller government people. Right. I want to tell you that Trump raised the national debt by over $8 trillion in his 4 years. That's a lot. So
But
do
the
not
animal
believe
spirit of the debt is low.
the animal spirits. The animal spirit of the stock market is alive and well. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've talked about these bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start
I mean,
talking.
you got a couple more too. I mean,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You got Schubert and Mitchell with their gender
Oh,
transition. They don't like that. You know, that bill died
That was
on
the case.
Senate
It
floor.
died
That was
on the
case
Senate
out
floor.
of my office.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that case
Really?
ripped my office apart. It was a big one.
Really?
Yeah, we had, like, an attorney in my office represented the parents out of, I think it was Glasgow.
Yeah.
That started the whole thing where they had a
That was
child.
in your office?
Yeah, a child that wanted to transition, and then CPS got involved, and then the parents were posting videos on YouTube, and the judge ordered them to take it down, and they wouldn't do it. It was a whole.
Holy. Okay, here's my opinion.
Yeah, I'll talk to Emily. She'll probably come on the
If
show.
parents are going to sign a waiver that your 15-year-old can go into the Marines when he's 16, the motherfucker can lose his penis and get a goddamn vagina at 15 or 16 to me, too. Because I'm telling you what. Both of those things are very life-altering
cloverleaf
events.
tattoo on St.
I mean,
Patrick's
you know,
Day
you're going
with
to trust. You
permission
want to trust
of my
parents with
dad.
homeschooling. You want to trust them with everything, but you won't trust them about a decision about their kid's sex.
I know.
Come on. You know, live and let live. Again,
But
live
it failed.
and let
It
live.
failed on the Senate floor.
Thank God we have places like Upper Seven Law. I would be a lot more of a pissed off person if we didn't have people like you. I would lose my money, so I have to donate money. I will
think
donate money
maybe
to you.
this is a good time for me to mention that in the Montana Constitution, we have a particularly lovely provision that protects the rights of minors to live their lives in a way that is exactly the same
You're
as
right.
adults. They have the same fundamental rights,
Same
as
protections
all
as adults.
And so the only times when you can increase the restrictions on individuals who are under the age of 18 is when those restrictions are intended basically to support and help them. For example, in Montana, we do not confine people who are under the age of 18 in solitary confinement. And that is a
wow,
way
I
in
didn't know
which
that.
we protect minors more than we protect adults. And I think it's worth raising in this moment because, of course, minors are human beings who are going to become adults pretty darn soon.
Yep.
And we need to allow them to live and self-determine and make choices about their own bodies and their own lives.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like that. I'm sorry, I was ordering more beers for us.
That's great. I mean, we like that.
Mike, what else you got on the legislature, real quick, before we get into the
Beer
road
and
show?
fundamental
What else you
rights.
got? You got more?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit.
Put that
out
on the
there.
flag. Montana flag. Beer and fundamental rights.
Beer and
Yeah.
fundamental rights.
Yes.
There's a lawsuit coming out of Butte Silverbow by the homeowners, and they're suing. Morrison's got this case. They're suing for constitutional statutory right to tax equalization. And this this gets back to that property tax issue. When the state stopped reappraising or stopped mitigating the reappraisal, they allowed the homeowner values to spike. And so what that means is corporations get this massive tax break while homeowners
Pay for it.
gobs
Yep.
more. And so Morrison's got this lawsuit that's carried by from the Butte-Suber homeowners, and they say, hey, look, you can't do it that way. You actually have to change these numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I've been talking about this issue a little bit, and it got my irie a little bit because I was at that Powers
Fern deal,
Fern, Transmittal
Trans.
the
God damn
town
it.
hall, that one. And, they kept talking about, we got these bipartisan solutions. And so I went through all these fiscal notes, and, the governor's got this.
You were a little perturbed that Fern was giving Gianforte credit. I thought that was
well,
funny.
Particularly when you look at these numbers. I mean, the governor's property tax fixed bill
Riley
collects
Cream Ale.
$114 million per year extra from homeowners. Okay, that's what the governor's bill does. $114 million extra to the state every year from homeowners and small business owners and farmers, right?
So,
And he
God.
only wants to give 50% of that money back. Now, the Democrats' solution, you got the 155 by Thane. but
Demon-crat.
Yep,
Okay.
and from
Demon
Missoula,
rat.
they say, we got this better solution. We think this is better. Well, the Democratic solution only gives back 42% of your money. Gianforte gives you 50% of the money, and the Democrats also want to collect $100 extra million per year.
yes.
And so, they got this little conspiracy going on. Oh, my bill's better than your bill, but they're both crap.
Yes.
That's what's going on. And what we really got to get to, and I keep talking about this, you got the Byrne bill from Crescent, you got the Dunville bill. They don't collect any extra money. They give 100% of it back. They don't require any full-time employees, like the governor.
Do those bills have any traction?
He needs 18 full-time employees to implement his bill. He's going to pay him $2 million a year. Talk about.
Do those bills have traction right now? I mean,
528 Byrne is heading to the House floor.
Oh,
You're
it
gonna
is.
see it
Okay.
on the House floor sooner or later, and so. All this kind of stuff is going to keep muddling through the system for the next 30, 40, 45 days. It's going to end up in Senate Finance and Claims, just like all these revenue bills do. They're going to look at this and say, we got this much money. How much do we need to hose the homeowners? How much do we think we can get away with?
Right, how much can you get away with?
If we call it real bipartisan, we can probably get away with a little bit more.
So Mike, that's something I wanted to ask you. Are you surprised, as I am, that there's some bipartisan work going on in the legislature in Montana?
The thing that I found
Is it all
out
because of Ellsworth and or is it just are they acting?
Personalities, but look, let's be real. The more Democrats you send up there, the more work you're going to get done because it really is the Democrats who are doing the work.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what.
And you look at what happened with Medicaid, and you look at all those kind of unimportant. The Democrats are actually doing the work, and the Republicans are taking all the credit, which is fine. They can have
exactly.
every bit of credit.
But here's the truth, and this is every 2 years. I do not see Democrats bringing up goofy fucking bills that have no chance to prove a point.
Yeah.
I don't see Democrats doing that in Montana. I might be wrong. I don't know. But I have not seen it. I remember, who was that lunatic? His wife ran to here in the valley, wanted to put a fucking nuclear plant in the Flathead Valley, a bill to do.
I mean, we've
skis,
had our share
I think.
of that kind of.
So there's always
You had to build the
half these bills we went over, the ones that are dead, the Schubert bills, the Mitchell bills, all these bills that are just kind of stupid and a waste of time and money. I don't see. So Democrats and the liberals are the ones that waste the money. They want everybody to have everything for free. But in fact, if you look at the Montana legislative sessions over the last 20 years, you don't see Democrats bringing bills that are liable to be fought in court. You just don't see it.
And the bills have gotten a little bit meaner. I mean, back when
Oh,
I was
way
in there,
meaner.
we had the kooky bills. We had Jerry O'Neill who brought the bill that said you got to be paid in gold bullion if you're a legislator.
Jerry's fucking crazy.
Right, and he also
Jerry
had
is
that
fucking.
bill
Is
that
he
said-
still alive?
You might like this bill. He had the bill that said that if you submit to a certain amount of lashings, you get out of jail.
Yes.
Oh, hell
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Is Jerry around? I honestly, I thought Jerry was a good guy. I like the guy. I don't say what. Is he alive? Is he around? I haven't seen Jerry O'Neill in
No, I
10
think
years.
I think he's alive.
Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause every once in a while, I'll have a client mention him and be like, I'm
I
talking
mean,
to a
he
guy,
might have
Jerry.
been kooky, but he was
he's
one hard
genius.
worker.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked those doors.
Right, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and you guys keep talking until Riley comes in and starts the roadshow
Okay.
information.
So I think the last one we got here, Mike, is the, let's see, well, we kind of covered the transition issue. The Senate Bill 437.
Which one's that?
Wait, did he just say the one that it seeks to define sex, male, female, father, mother, based on a person's biology. Sponsored by Carl Grimm out of Kiowa.
Oh yeah, Glim.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is all the flathead Republicans that are bringing all
really
these.
is.
And I don't really understand what.
It's a really who's who.
They
of
got
the
some
Flathead
kind of
Valley.
personal thing they're working through, and I don't really get it all. But
They seem to have a certain issue they're quite obsessed with.
yeah, and I don't know. You know, there was a judge that just blocked Judge Morris. He blocked House
Yep.
Bill 892 from the 23 session, and that was the bill that criminalized people if they made a mistake on their voter registration form.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
and-
that
and-
should have been
And
blocked.
they just now, like what are we, 2 years later, they just said, no, you can't do that.
Yes, that's crazy. Good for Judge Morris. Yeah.
You're
Okay,
talking
so
about
I think we've
Carl
got
Glim.
the upper 7 lawsuits
Glim.
involving Montana.
Oh yeah, now let's talk about
Well,
these
one
lawsuits
of them
real
is
quick.
about defining sex.
She's now leaving her role as an individual, and she's now representing upper 7.
There we go. Now I have to grow up.
Yep.
Now I have to grow up. We've all got to be adults here.
Wait, what
Absolutely
happened?
not, Ed.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike.
We all grew up.
That's
So again, maybe you're not familiar, and the people are watching that Upper 7 is an advocacy lawyer group. I'd say in a way, like you're protecting the people of Montana that can't protect themselves.
Right.
And Montana has a long history now, or last decade, of just. I mean, honestly, maybe not that long. I'd say this is the second or third session now where they're really throwing a lot of bills out there and passing them that are not constitutional at all. Like, you know, in my memory, it just hasn't happened like it is now.
Well, you always had a backstop. don't
You had a
have
backstop. You're right. There's no
Right.
backstop. There's no
It's
oversight.
really helpful when you have different parties that control different branches because they naturally check each other more effectively than if you don't have that type of check in place, right? And so
two wings on the plane.
Right, exactly. You've got 2 wings on the plane. Sorry, Ryan.
But
Yeah.
but you have this is what Upper 7's doing right now. You
So far.
have 8 ongoing lawsuits.
We actually have a little bit more than this. This is
I bet you
this
these
is
are the highlights.
about a year ago. But yeah.
I like the Jankowicz versus Fox News.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
a-
that
it's a
you're
fun one.
suing Fox News because fuck them. I'm just saying. I don't know. It makes me sick.
No one is entitled to violate the law.
Me,
Well, I
even
can think
me.
of one person.
One person. I can think of one.
I think of one orange person.
One very orange person.
entitled to do that.
It's good to see O'Neill versus Gianforte on appeal. I actually happened to watch that case, but your partner did, and it was good.
Yeah,
I know J-Dog because he used to be.
It's on appeal. Who won the case?
So that case was decided,
Who's
and it was
appealing
sort
it?
of a mix. So the governor appealed it, and the case has been decided. So it's this is why it being a year old, it doesn't quite give you the full update. So
Right.
the Montana Supreme Court decided that case, and they reversed in part and they affirmed in part. And so they sent it back to the district court for us to do a little bit more. Basically, they recognized a pretty limited right for the governor to protect some documents from public disclosure, but it is still the case that the governor is limited.
I don't see any documents that should have that protection.
I kind of agree with you, to be totally honest, but I think this is one of those things where it's
That's
like
fucked up.
we'll see how that plays out because the procedure that they laid out in their order is one that I think may lend itself to a lot of lawsuits. And I think that things
They're used to that.
may change. Well, they are, but one of the things that courts worry about is opening the floodgates. It's a really
Okay, so the
common
courts worry
concern.
about that, but the legislature does not.
No, that's right. But that
Like they
case
just
really
throw
doesn't have-
shit out there and see what sticks, right?
Yeah. No, that's right.
Wow.
This is a good one right here. The Lake County, the prison conditions.
Oh yeah,
law.
that one's really exciting.
Because, and maybe I've talked about this before, but the Lake County jail is fucking disgusting.
Is it really?
Oh, it's so
So I've
bad.
you know
heard
what
that.
they're doing right
Like,
now?
Where is it? In Polson?
Yeah, it's in Polson. So I've always said, so the Flathead County Jail is, whatever, it's jail, it's fine. Like, it's not nice, but I always thought it was kind of shitty. And then I went to Libby, Lincoln County
Oh, I
Jail,
bet.
and was like, it's all underground. I was like, oh man,
Whoa.
Flathead's way nicer than Libby.
Wow.
And then I went to Polson. I went to Lake County.
And it's fucked.
And was like, why is everything wet? Like, this
Oh,
is disgusting.
no.
You're opening, there's snakes.
No.
Like, it's disgusting. Yeah, I've represented a lot of clients down in Lake County, so that was a great one to see prevail.
And one of the really lovely things, so the thing about prison condition cases is that they're hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
And bringing those cases is always hard because it's a complicated thing, and there is a bare minimum that you got to meet, but it's not maybe what all of us would like to see. Maybe that bare minimum should be a little bit higher. But in Lake County, we brought this lawsuit challenging the conditions of confinement. And the really beautiful thing is that we were able to settle with the county and that they agreed to build an outdoor space in addition to reducing the population of the folks that are incarcerated there. And the reason why that's such a big deal is that, one, it's very unusual for states to agree or counties to agree to increase the space that's available. But at the Lake County Jail, people could not go outside.
No.
That's fucking crazy.
You couldn't
crazy.
have discussions with your lawyer outside of earshot of anyone else in the jail.
No,
So
because
we
it
would
was
go-
so overcrowded.
We would go down to Lake County and be like, well, I want to speak to my client, but I can't because there's a guard right here. So any idea of like confidentiality
yeah,
is
there's
out
no,
the
there's no
window.
way. But and on that point, we make anybody that's addicted to drugs or has a mental health issue, they're labeled a criminal in Montana. And when the fuck is that going to stop? When are they going to put money into facilities?
No time
Our
soon.
jails are always okay. Here's what we're going through. Montana population's fucking exploding. It's not going to stop. Okay, we're going to build something in Flathead, a new jail at some point. It'll have a mental health wing, is what Randy Brodell promised me. That it'll happen. I don't believe it. I don't know, and I don't know why that money's not there, and I don't know why the ground isn't being broken right now. I mean, when home values increase the way they have here, you get California. I don't give a fuck what you think. You're getting California and Montana because these home prices, they create homelessness and they create theft, criminal activity. And that means you need more jail beds. And you look at our fucking Flathead Valley Jail roster.
Or
Wow.
it may not mean that I would push back against that a little bit, right? Because
No, you won't.
I think
Just kidding.
I sure will.
Cut her mic. Yeah.
Thanks
Got it.
very much.
Got her.
No, I got this. I got my on-off button
Yeah.
here. I know.
It's true.
Okay, now I appreciate. I don't think that's the only solution to issues that arise in communities based on increasing home prices and other really difficult things that we face. I think the thing, and I feel like Ryan may be able to speak to this as well, but it's like the thing that we need to consider is how do we provide services that make sure that people don't need that sort of intervention. And also, incarceration is not a great answer to
Fuck
a
no.
lot of problems.
It's the worst
Because
answer.
Because
It's
it's
the
wildly
worst answer.
expensive, right? Like, it's wildly expensive.
You know,
And I think-
Portugal legalized all
among
drugs.
other things, and it's immoral. But that's a separate issue.
I mean, Portugal solved their prison, their whole problem with counseling and legalizing all drugs.
Here's
Really, this is a whole country that experimented with this fucking almost 20 years ago now.
Here's how it works, Ed. I will tell you exactly how it works.
Well, you know.
Because we deal with this every single day. So you have someone that is mentally ill, and they do something, I don't know, they steal a car or whatever.
Yeah.
They get charged with a crime. They go to jail.
And they don't even know the crime they committed.
No, they go
They
to
have
jail.
no idea.
They go to jail. They get an assigned attorney. It's me or someone else at my office.
Lucky
and,
you.
And we meet with them, and they're like, "Oh, this person is, crazy. essentially.
Right.
Like, they can't care for themselves.
Yes.
They defecate on themselves or whatever. So then we file. We.
I
have
do that when I'm drunk.
We have
but
doctors
anyway.
on staff that come in and they do an evaluation and they find this person unfit to proceed, meaning they cannot assist
Okay.
in their own defense.
Right.
I cannot discuss the case with them. They don't know what a judge is. They don't know what a court is. So
Right,
it's
yeah, you're
inhumane
right. It's
to
all
prosecute
foreign.
This person. So then, they're unfit, and then I file a motion with the court saying this person needs to be evaluated by the state hospital to see if they can restore fitness. And that usually takes about 60 to 90 days, and nothing happens. And then, and that's the time when we file a motion to dismiss. We're saying this has been an unconstitutional delay in proceedings, and this case needs to be dismissed. The state says we need more time, and then the judge gives them more time, and then eventually,
and then the person
eventually the state hospital
It's stuck.
says, okay, we'll do it. And they find this person unfit, and they say, okay, send them to the state hospital in Warm Springs or Galen, and we will restore fitness. But they say we've got a huge backlog right now.
Of course they do, yes.
Right now, your client
It's
is
nowhere near big enough.
Is number 86 on the list.
Oh.
So you can go to the Flathead County Jail roster.
Yeah, and every other person is.
Ryan's ready to pull it up.
Yep. We talked about this today at my meeting.
We look at it, everybody.
Yep.
We all look at it every
You go
day.
to the Flathead County Jail roster, and you can look at booking date. And the guy that's been in there longest, you know, Barisa, poor sweet Barisa.
Poor Barisa.
He was booked in August of 2023.
Fuck. Holy fuck. He's been in the Flathead County Jail that long.
And his case is on hold, pending
Why?
transport to the state hospital.
Oh, no.
So then what happens?
Because most of those
Did
people.
the feds pull money out of the state?
So then
hospital?
what
Most of
happens?
those people do look crazy.
So
on that
then what
roster.
happens is we file another motion to dismiss, saying this delay is unconstitutional, and eventually the judges grant it, which they did with Barisa like
Yeah.
a couple days ago, but it takes a while to let him out of custody.
Right.
But they literally let him out of door 5 at the Flathead County Detention Center,
What
and
the
he's just
fuck?
released back into the community.
No shit.
And then it starts all over again.
Oh, wow. We have a broken system.
It is,
it's a mess.
it is
And, you know,
unbelievably broken.
And what about like the prisoners that are sent out of state? You know, what kind of
Yeah,
rights
what-
do they have? Do they ever get to see their families?
We just
again?
sent 180 people to Arizona, didn't we? Not
We
that
did.
long ago?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move it along. I want, Riley, you got your access to your slideshow. And there's
I
some
do.
very interesting things about the Constitutional Roadshow that I saw yesterday when I went and watched it. And I was happy. There's 14 people there. I mean, there was 14 people. That was not
Twice
a...
the people watching this podcast.
It,
right?
it's very twice.
I mean, we've been talking. We're down to 14 people.
Yeah, not, I think less. I think we only have
Pretty
family.
soon,
We
they're
only have
gonna
family
leave.
members left. Anyway,
My family
there's things that
checked
you
out.
brought up. The population I thought was interesting, and you got the clicker, so you can pretty much, you know, obviously it won't be
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yesterday, but definitely let these viewers and people know
All right.
where our population went, how it got that way, and then the homesteading acts and all that. I think that's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting.
You don't think we should talk about Odysseus?
A what? Oh, I don't know. If you want to, ask Kevin. Kevin's saying no. No, it's the first 20 minutes
My
of her
dog
presentation.
is Ernie. Thank you very much.
It's the
No,
first
well,
20
I
minutes of the
appreciate that.
presentation.
No, it's
But you can sum it up.
it's the Odyssey. I mean,
Actually, you know
look,
what? You should make
Like
points
there's
of it.
some guys over here at the bar, and I just feel like maybe they want to tell us whether or not they've read Odysseus.
Oh, those guys, yeah,
Have you guys- Have you guys read the
Fuck
Odyssey?
yeah.
You're looking like really.
Those are the arm wrestling champions.
These are guys who have definitely read Homer,
Yeah.
right? Right. Yeah. So what? So
Don't!
you better watch
That
out
Homer?
though.
Yeah.
No.
He's yellow. He's
No.
bald.
Don't.
Yeah, I
That
know
is not
Homer, yeah.
correct. Thank you very much. No, here's my question. Who here has read the Odyssey?
It's been a
At
long
some
time.
point,
Kevin has.
Ron has.
Michelle has.
Ron has. This person
Oh,
has.
Ron's a nerd. He has.
Okay. You guys, what happens in the Odyssey?
The one on Pornhub? No.
What's the basic premise? What's happening?
He leaves.
It is Odysseus taking 20 years to get back home from the Battle of Troy. Beautiful. What's your name? Nathan literally has, I don't know how to make my slideshow go forward, but
Kevin?
Kevin, can we, there we go, go back one. There we go. Okay, hold on. Nathan, who are these people that are flying around?
Those are the sirens.
It's the sirens. Nathan knows. Okay, listen. So we've got the Odyssey. Odysseus is in this massive journey home, and he is focused on getting back to his wife Penelope. And this is really important, right? So I've talked to several high school classes, and I will tell you that at least 2 of them told me that the most important thing about the story of Odysseus is that he loves his wife. I think that's really adorable. So just sharing that with everyone here. We have a few smiles, no significant laughter for our audience on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Ron, that's not related. Now, okay, so the reason, I think this is really important, because we're going to talk about the Montana Constitution for a few minutes here. Now, this is a theory of constitutional law that we are taught in law school. Like, it is probably something Ryan read. It's probably something Bo read. That we have a few more lawyers in the room, right? Now,
Fucking lawyers.
Odysseus, I know, fucking lawyers, man.
Fuck.
We're always trying to talk about, like,
Gotta have 'em.
archaic Greek stories.
Yup.
Okay, but so we've got Odysseus, and he's on his way home, and he goes by the island where Circe is in charge. And Circe and he have this whole conversation, and she says, "Listen, if you want to get home, that's great, but the fastest route takes you by these wild-looking creatures, the sirens." What happens when you hear a siren song? Anybody?
When you hear a what?
Siren song.
Like the ambulance?
No, but you pull over if it's that.
What?
The answer is you pull over.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're drawn to it. You're drawn to it, right? Now, okay.
Smart guy out there.
I mean, yeah, he knows. So this is the deal. In the best case scenario, you crash your ship on the rocks and you die. It's not. It's
Ooh,
not
that's
great,
rough.
right? You drown.
That's rough.
I know.
I think there was
In
a
the
legislator to
in the worst case.
Ah, Mike.
Denny, are you listening? Yeah.
All right. In the worst case scenario, you're enslaved. Or maybe you're actually eaten. You're the subject of cannibalism. So what I'm trying to say here is that the stakes are high for passing the sirens. Now, Odysseus nonetheless says, listen, I'm going past the sirens because I'm focused on getting home fast. Not only that, but I want to be the only person who ever lives through this. I am going to be the
Heavy.
guy who lives to tell about hearing the siren song. So what does he do? He makes an agreement with his sailors, and they put, are you going to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. They put beeswax in their ears. And the reason, why do they do this?
pull out the hair.
Yeah, pull out the hair. Yes. Yeah, once you're over 50, you'll know once you're over 50.
They're trying to look chic and young, but also they're trying to
one,
survive
Mike.
the sirens. They can't hear if they put the beeswax in their ears.
Right.
Now, in this picture, it's a John William Waterhouse painting. You can see that their heads are also wrapped. So, all right, cool. That's great. What does Odysseus do? Brian says he straps himself to the mast, right? Okay, so we've got Odysseus, and he's tied himself to the mast. But it's not he himself who's in charge here. He talks to his sailors, and he says, listen, I'm going to lose my shit. I am going to be unable to control myself we know what happens when people hear sirens. They die. So in order to protect all of us, what am I going to do? I am going to tie myself in a way, and then you, my crew, Ed, you cannot untie me. No matter how persuasive I may seem, no matter how freaked out, no matter what is happening, until those sirens are so far in the rearview mirror that they are barely a memory, you cannot set me free. Okay, here's the question for the room.
If I had you tied up, I probably would have a hard time setting you free. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be
I'm
really
just saying.
difficult. As long as you really don't know how knots work, you're in
Yes.
good shape.
You're right.
Yeah. Now, here's the question, and Ed is not allowed to answer this
No, 'cause
question,
I
and
was
neither
there.
is Joan. Where is the Constitution in this picture?
I know.
It's a metaphor. Ed, you are not allowed. Ryan, you can. It's the rope. Fuck yeah, Kevin.
Jesus Christ, I knew Kevin would know that.
Okay, but
He's
Kevin,
Googling over there.
Kevin's like, I know what it is. Okay, here, I'm going to say, instead of, because we're on a podcast and like it would be annoying because Kevin is not mic'd at this moment, I'm going to explain why.
Kevin's mic'd
Is
up.
that okay? Are you?
Oh, it's not working?
Okay,
No.
okay. So
He's loud enough.
Kevin has given us the right answer. It's the rope. And the reason why it's the rope is it's these bindings that he voluntarily submits to in agreement with his crewmates to protect themselves from future danger.
That sounds
Right?
like a constitution to me.
It's a constitution.
I love
it's
that.
an agreement with our future selves, but also with our community to protect ourselves from the scary things and the temptations that we're going to face down the line. We believe that we're going to do so well, but here's the reality. We also know that there are going to be moments when we are tested and we are tempted and we want to change things up. So this is a constitution. And don't worry, we're going to move on to all the other things. And this is an important and foundational piece of when we talk about the Montana Constitutional Roadshow. The idea is that we have an agreement with ourselves to protect ourselves from those moments when when it's really hard to say what exactly we should do. And that's really what the
not
Montana
everybody
Constitution
knows.
is. No, because we don't, and
And
we
you don't know, especially in a
ourselves-
situation you don't know.
We don't know. And so sometimes we have to make an agreement. Now,
Like, everybody wants protection.
everybody wants protection. And here's the other sort of
Bootstrap people
illustration.
might not want it, but outside, but deep down inside they do.
Deep down inside. Because, and here's the part that I will give as an example. So if Mike and I decide, what's that? Right, exactly. Mike and I decide that we're going to start a club where we drive 110 miles an hour on the interstate.
Yeah, Mike.
You guys want to
see
get
it,
in
but-
on this? I see some other people. They're like, yeah, we
Reasonable and
drive
prudent.
fast.
We're back to the reasonable and prudent.
That's reasonable and prudent for sure.
I mean, we're good drivers. It is reasonable and prudent for us.
I got pulled over doing 115 once.
Now, okay, Ed, but Ed is facing the repercussions of having driven 115 miles an hour. He has started a club in which he's going to drive 50 miles an hour.
You probably
Ryan's
seen
in it.
Reasonable and prudent out, didn't you?
Yep.
And now, here's the thing. All of us have taken the road, and we half of us are driving 50 miles an hour, and half of us are driving 110 miles an hour. Now, the reason
As
I
long as
bring
you're
this
not in the
up,
left lane, I'm cool with it.
We're getting there twice as fast as you are.
You are.
we are. I don't know if you noticed that we're going fast.
You're smart people.
Now, the problem with this, and I think everybody here can agree, and I think everybody who thinks about what this would mean knows that this is not the safest possible situation for our interstate.
No, fun, but yes, not safe.
It sounds
While-
like 93 on every.
It does sound like 93.
Okay,
Bro,
Mike,
can
no.
you imagine? Like,
Morning, yeah.
the average speed on
mean-
93 is like 80.
Man, when I see somebody with a Texas license plate passing me on the interstate, I'm like, you are going too fast. Like,
Yes.
literally, without fail, I do need to report you. You are going too fast. Because I'm driving a little over the speed limit.
A
And-
little.
A little. But
4
one of-
miles.
The reason that I talk about this in the context of the Montana Constitution is that when we agree to a set of rules, and each of us buys into that set of rules, and we all adhere to the same agreement about how are we going to drive on the interstate, we are making each other safer, right?
Yes.
And we are voluntarily restricting our freedom to an extent. But what it does is it makes us all freer. Because at the end of the day, when we agree to drive at the same speed, we have a much higher likelihood of reaching our destination
Not in a fiery crash.
and not in a fiery crash without any sirens pulling us over.
Yes. Yep.
Or sirens coming to retrieve us from a fiery death, right? Now, the reason I bring this up is that we have these moments in society where we sort of think, oh, these rules, these laws, they're interfering with our freedom. But what I am
Oh,
trying
my freedom
to
hurts
do,
often.
What's that?
My freedom hurts often. I'm a conservative. My freedoms
But-
are hurt.
Okay, so you all know Ed. People
Yeah,
people
they
who
do.
are paying attention to this podcast, they know Ed.
We've seen you rolling coal on 93.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I roll the coal. I do drive a diesel.
One of the other examples that we give during the roadshow is this idea that, like, so say that Ed was really mad about me going out in the state and talking about the Montana Constitution.
Yeah.
One of the
I'm
options,
pissed.
he's pissed. But you know what he can't do? Is that when I leave my house, I have a very basic and realistic expectation that Ed Doctor is not going to show up on my doorstep and tackle me to the ground. Every day when I leave my house, I feel
When you
reasonably
say no to
confident.
going to a movie with me, I might.
But I feel reasonably confident that I am safe from attack when I leave my house.
Yes.
But you know what's also really fun about a constitution and an agreement to buy into the same set of rules is that you are also free from me attacking you.
Yes.
And what that means
She
is
would
that
beat your ass.
I mean,
Yeah, probably.
if we agreed to a fight, you would be in trouble, Ed.
I would be.
Yeah.
Well, if it was about looks, I'm fucking dead.
But here's the thing, right? Is that all of us are doing this all the time. We are agreeing to a set of rules that make us freer and that allow us to live and to pursue our happiness, right? To follow our dreams. And all of us have to make a little space for each other to be able to do that. I don't get to infringe on your bodily autonomy because you have agreed also not to infringe on mine. And that doesn't mean we don't have fights about it.
And back in 1972, I can see this being very acceptable
Yeah.
by all parties. And I mean, I do. You know, I don't know the history of it as much, but it just seems that our constitution is very special here in Montana.
It is.
I mean,
It's really special.
And you've got certain people nowadays that aren't so sure of that.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. We're living
100%.
in a different world.
Absolutely.
We're living in a different world. We're living in a world now where you have certain Republicans that don't believe in climate change. And that's their right. I get it.
They can think whatever they want.
But there's parts of our Constitution that protects our environment.
Absolutely.
They do
yes.
not like it.
And
That was my best Obama. They do not like it.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Keep it. Shut up.
So we lay this foundation, right? Of like, what do we know? What is a constitution? And then I think Ed has specific requests, but maybe Ryan, you have specific requests about where we go from there. I feel like it's important to talk for a moment about like what is a constitution, why do we have one, and why does it matter, right? And so that's what the point of the Odysseus story is it's like it's a building block for understanding. It's not a perfect metaphor, but it's a building block for understanding why we have a constitution. And the same thing is true about like when we talk about, okay, most of us are trying to obey the speed limit and most of us are trying to stop at stop signs. And the reason why we're doing that is not because it restricts our freedom, but because it makes us all more free all the time. So where do we go from there? Well, we have and the difference, right, is we've got a federal constitution that sets a floor, and we have federal law that sets a floor. But what do we also have? We have a Montana constitution that recognizes at least 37 additional rights and liberties for the people of Montana. And by the way, for people who are still here, we do have Montana constitutions that you can have because you are here.
People that are still here and awake.
People who are here, who are listening to me, you may have
is
a
paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, Bo is going to take a constitution.
Yeah.
Like, I feel really confident about it. A few other people are interested in constitutions. We're excited about that. The Montana Constitution is really neat because it is something that came about as the result. And I know, so Ed did have a specific request for us. It came about as a result of, it was a response to what we passed in 1889. Now, do people want to learn about 1889 for a second? Yeah? Yeah?
It's more than just a
More or less.
steakhouse in Missoula.
It's more than that.
What, Fred's?
No, 1880. Fred's is
Oh.
closed.
Oh, that's right.
1889.
Wasn't that Yellowstone movie was 18?
Yeah.
That's what I think it was, yeah.
So I'm gonna go boom, boom, boom.
I think
We're
these
gonna-
are amazing. These numbers are amazing.
Okay. Hold on. So this is what we're gonna do because Ed's requesting, talking about this. Okay, we're gonna.
No, you got to go back to where you were. I like those the numbers
yeah.
about.
We're coming. We're don't worry.
Okay, all right.
I'm just clicking around like crazy to really stress people out.
Click around.
All right. So in the late 1800s, Montana is settled as a company colony. Okay, and we're going to talk about two economic engines that occur because they're both really fun. The first one is agriculture. So we've got 3 homestead acts essentially. Has anybody in this room ever irrigated before?
Super easy.
Ron, you got my jokes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ron, it's easy, right? You're supposed to say no.
Especially in eastern Montana.
It's really hard where you don't have irrigable land. It's dry farmland. So you can see here that when you irrigate, you get more acreage. That's great.
640 acres.
640 acres. That's a
That's
lot
a
of
fucking shit ton.
That's a lot of land.
Like if I was alive back then, I'd be like, there's gonna be generations of my family that are
Square
wealthy.
mile. You can't farm for square miles.
Yeah.
No.
You can't do it.
Nope.
You're gonna need a tractor.
Now here's the question, you guys.
Gonna need it.
You're gonna need a tractor. Now, okay, in 1870, the U.S. Census comes up with 20,000 people here in Montana. Who does this not include?
Indians.
Native American people, Indians in Montana.
Did you find out how many there were then? Remember you said you
I
were
haven't done it yet.
I'm gonna
I know.
Google it.
I'm sorry. Lydia, is Lydia here? Can Lydia help us? Lydia, can you tell us how many Native American people there were in Montana in 1870? Ed's looking. We're gonna figure it out.
19,300.
Oh, interesting.
Wow,
So we would have
fucking
had
close,
double.
half and half.
Yeah. So okay, 50%.
Oh, that must have pissed off the conservatives.
Yeah. Okay, now listen. In 10 years, now the reason that we bring this up is that the U.S. Census is not all that interested in making sure that they have an accurate count of Native American people and white people. However, it doesn't. I'm not saying that there are no Native American people included in this count. I'm just saying that it was not the first priority of the American government. So what we are seeing here, and the numbers that we're going to walk through, they are the incentive structure of the agricultural boom in the late 1800s, in which we are engaging in Homestead Act acquisition of land, right? And largely the people who are coming to the state are white people who are moving here to farm and make their way. They're obviously also oftentimes poor white people, right? What now? What do we got?
I Googled how many lived here in 1920, Native Americans.
Yeah. What is it?
250,000.
I mean, look at this.
How the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know that that's
Were they all
right.
they all
Like,
came
let's
from
see,
Texas
but-
like they're doing it now?
Like, are you using ChatGPT right now?
Google.
Yeah, I mean, but is
True.
it-
It's all the same.
I'm just saying. Like, let's check those numbers.
But it aligns with your numbers in because I went to 1920 because I remember the numbers,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
the
yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
I mean, this place boomed.
It was booming.
I mean, it's crazy. We went. Well, you keep
Here
going.
we go.
Sorry.
Here we go. No, I mean.
Here we go.
Ed's right though, right? So we got 10
Ed's
years.
always
and we
right.
got 30 years. 376,000 people. Now we get to 1920.
Look at that.
The Roaring 20s. We got 550,000 people in Montana.
And
And-
half of them were Indians.
I'm not sure that that's
Well,
right.
it's Google says you're right. I don't think
Google may or may not be fully.
Google fucks up once in a while.
May not be giving us all of the accurate information at this time. And to be clear, I think these numbers, these are U.S. Census numbers, and so I don't know how exactly to relate those numbers. However, what we've got, and I think this is worth pointing out.
Wow.
Okay, so how many people live in Montana right now?
1.2 million almost.
1.2 million.
Almost.
Right? So we're almost
Probably
half,
more.
100 years ago, almost half the population that lives in Montana today is living in Montana.
And look at from
And
1870
think
to 1920.
about, I mean, you live in Whitefish. You have been watching infrastructure develop like crazy in the last 5 to 10 years.
Dude.
Think about like the new
No
roads
joke.
that you have, right? Like
The stoplights.
imagine 100 years ago, half the population in the most extreme population growth, like happening incredibly quickly. So I think that's just like worth imagining for a moment. Now, in 1924, the U.S. government passes the Indian Citizenship Act. And what this does is it extends American citizenship to all Native American people who are living in the United States.
Caveat though.
Yep. Big caveat. It does not tell states how to extend the right to vote to human beings that are living in the United
And
States.
is that a flaw from the federal government, or was that actually meant to be? Do you think?
I mean, here's what I think.
Did the Western states have pull in that?
I mean, I think that what it could be a mistake. It could be an intentional thing. It could be one of the
We don't
horse
know. It's a
trading.
long time ago.
Right? It's like the horse trading that happens in order to get a law passed, right? Like it's hard to say. But in Montana, the result of this is that we've got we don't. Now look, we don't have a law that says Native American people in Montana can't vote. But what we do have is a law that says in order to be eligible to vote, you have to be a direct taxpayer to the state of Montana. And the problem with that is that the vast majority of Native Americans live in Montana on reservations or on Indian land. And when you live on a reservation, you are not paying taxes directly to the state.
You are through your tribe,
Exactly.
but not individual. I mean, that's
Exactly.
fucked up.
Right? So you're
That's
getting
on purpose.
It's on purpose. I mean, I think it's a thing that we can be really confident we understood was happening, and the result is that Native American people in Montana are not they're not eligible to participate in most elections.
Which is fair because they're not white.
I mean,
That's a good point.
isn't that what your county commissioner said?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a really important thing to keep in mind as one of the pieces of information about the late 1800s, early 1900s in Montana. We have this progression; it's happening.
I would assume 90% of our population has no idea of those numbers.
Absolutely, because it's
That blew my mind.
yeah, they are shocking numbers. You see that kind of growth in our state.
20,000 to
And
250 in
20,000
50 years.
20,000 to 550.
To 550 in
Right.
20 years. For 50 years. Yep.
Yeah, and look.
We thought it's bad now.
You,
Wow.
Yeah, you don't like the growth in our population
Imagine
right now.
being in 1910 being like, God,
being
all these
here.
people are moving here. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah, like, and they did not all come from Texas. No, this is the era of manifest destiny.
Yep.
And it is what it is. The Homestead Acts authorize people to take Indian land most of the time and work that land and then own it. And,
Now, these
and
four
that's
people
something
are
that's worth
enshrined in
keeping in mind.
Gianforte's office, right? Is that right? Does he
Well-
got plaques of everyone? Bus?
Ed,
I'm not going to get in trouble. I swear to God. I'm not.
I'm going to tell you guys about these four people.
Because we got
Now,
new Copper Kings now.
These guys are the Copper Kings. And the fun thing about this slide is that you get to hate all of them. You get to really appreciate that they are villainous.
Well, they're the reason we had a constitutional convention, basically.
Indeed. They ran it all. So we've got our Anaconda boys at the top. This is Marcus Daly and William Clark.
Now
We've
we
got
have our Gallatin boys, you know.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the gazillionaires from Gallatin now.
yeah, Anaconda boys swapped in for Gallatin boys. Got to appreciate it. Now we've got Gus Heinze, not the ketchup guy, just Heinze. I don't know why they pronounce it that way. Anyway,
He actually made mustard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that would be so great. He lives in Butte. Now, we've got a Rockefeller wandering around. I was informed recently by a high school teacher that, in fact, he perpetuated some atrocities. So he's really belongs on this screen, but we mostly have him up there for balance. And he's a recognizable name, so, feel good about it. Now, what happens? Well, we're jumping all the way ahead. You guys get to see everything all at once. But here's the story. So William Clark, he gets elected and he gets sent to D.C. to represent Montana in 1900. And this is the same guy who presides over our 1889 Constitution. But he goes to Washington and they send him home because he's bribed so many people to vote for him that even in 1900, Congress looks around and says, Whoa.
Whoa.
You got to get out of here.
But
That
what did
is-
we do?
We elected him. Again. A second time.
That's so
we sent
Montana.
him right
Well,
back.
it was
We
the
were like,
legislature, right? It
you
wasn't the
think it's an
people."
ethical
Right,
violation?
right.
Oh, yeah.
That was back when the
We meant
legislature
to-
elected.
No.
We've always been a little corrupt out here.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Well, anyway, so this is the character who's running the 1884 and 1889 constitutional conventions. And then we've got some fun facts for you here up on the screen. One of them is that mining revenue, it is rendered essentially not, it is tax exempt.
and our federal
That's
government's
just a
doing that right.
coincidence, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have anything to do with mining.
Well, right now, Burlington Northern doesn't pay taxes. Pacific Power doesn't pay taxes.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
this
still
is
happening.
one of those things, right? Where when you have power, why would you tax yourself?
I mean,
They have
it
the
really
best
If
is.
you
lobbyists.
have the opportunity to evade the system, oftentimes you will take it. Now, we also have, and I just think you got to think about this for a second. Your voting records. This is not whether or not you voted, but who you voted for, open to the public. Just imagine what that would mean for you. Think about your family. Think
Right.
about your job. And everybody can know who you voted for. I like to say to high school students, just imagine you can look up every person that your teacher voted for the last 40 years of their lives.
No, when I was back in the legislature, I had a friend who was back. We had text back then. It was that long ago, but he voted on some bills, and he got a text from his boss that says, "You're fired."
Oh, man.
Yeah, and so that kind of stuff, it really does happen.
Right, totally. I mean, Mike, that's so helpful because it's like, that's a public vote, right? As a legislator, you are working for the people, so your vote has to be public. But imagine if that was true for all of us individually. Okay,
Yeah,
so
well.
now we've got the drama. So Heinze is over in Butte, and he has he's using this thing called the Apex Law. And what the Apex Law says is that I'm digging my copper mine, and I'm digging, and I can go anywhere that mine takes me. It can take me all the way to the back of the bar, right up next to Jamie, and I can be right
Even
in
though
his
it's somebody
backyard.
else's land, because
Yeah.
you're underneath it.
Yeah, exactly. But as long as I'm under the ground,
I drink your milkshake.
exactly, I get to drink your milkshake.
Drink it up. Yeah.
And you can't stop me.
Yeah.
Now,
Nope.
you really can't stop me if I own all of the judges in Butte, which was the case for Gus Heinze.
Heinze, yep.
Now, Daly and Clark keep trying to sue him, and they are unsuccessful. But they do have an advantage.
They own the media.
They
right?
own everything.
Right. Oh, everything.
They own everything.
Groceries.
They own the newspapers. They own the grocery stores. They own the transit systems. And the unions, of course. Thank you.
Fucking unions.
They own everything. And
My
the
goddamn father was in a union. I'm here because of that.
You're talking to the local union rep right here, pal.
Yeah, I know you. I know I am. God
Okay.
bless you.
So
If that's your thing.
we've got Ryan falling in line with our corporate overlords, because
Par
that's
for the course.
Look at him.
right. That's the era, right? And what happens is that when the legislature resists passing a change in menu law and allowing basically all of this stuff to move to a different court, they shut it all down. They say, you don't get groceries, you don't get transit, you don't get freight trains, but what you do get is news. Because you get news that's going to tell you about exactly what Gus Heinze is doing and exactly what the legislature is doing. And very quickly, the legislature does fall in line. And they say, okay, fine, we're going to pass a change in menu law. Because we're all susceptible to pressure. And at the end of the day, this strength that Daly and Clark exert results in what we call the copper collar. And I love this particular fact because I don't know, Ryan, did you grow up in Montana? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I didn't know, we hear all the time about this idea of the copper collar, but I didn't know what it was about. Like, I didn't understand what it meant. It's this. It's the ability to control the ways in which the political world responds to things that are happening around you. Mike, I feel like this is the type of information that I didn't learn when I was a kid. And it's not because I wasn't being taught about the copper collar, but because instead, I just didn't understand the nitty-gritty of what it meant. That these are the people who were in charge of writing the foundational document, the Odysseus document that underpins the whole situation in which we operate. Mm-hmm. And so what happens, and I want to make sure I'm respectful of where Ed thinks that we should go next here.
Ed is gone.
Ed's gone. Ed's gone.
knows
So
where Ed is?
you guys, we're in charge.
Ed's huffing glue in the parking lot. I don't know where Ed
We
is.
get to decide. Okay, so here's
that
where we
mic
go
off,
next.
yeah.
He's out of here. Okay, well, so where we go next is that we have this document that was written by people who controlled everything in 1889, and they continued to control everything for several decades after. And it created a chokehold on the politics in Montana. And when it came to the late 1960s, we looked around and said, we have a problem. The 1889 Constitution is stopping us from being able to effectively govern locally and at the state level. And so this is how we get to a constitutional convention. We elect a commission, and the commission comes together, and they study it, they come up with these findings and recommendations.
Did you get the money? Is that the bag?
Yeah.
It's the donation for Upper Seventh Law.
Yeah, that's for us, right?
Brought my bank bag for Riley.
So
And TJ.
you have this recommendation that happens, and basically what they say is like, listen, we have to have a constitutional convention because there is no way to fix the document that we've got to allow us to effectively govern. And so they come together, and in 1970, the people of Montana vote for having a constitutional convention, and they vote for it by 65%.
Disco made us reasonable.
It's like what's that?
Disco made us
Disco,
reasonable.
yeah.
That was a disco era. I mean,
Exactly.
think about it. Long
We were like-
sideburns, bell bottoms.
Right.
Yeah,
Bee
exactly.
Gees
fucking,
didn't give
we're
us
for the
anything.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was Graybill's granddad, I think, who was the.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
There was
yes,
a bill to ban
and
those
in
things.
fact-
Yeah, he seated everybody alphabetically. Said, no, you're not sitting next to your buddies.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
exactly.
I like that.
And you know what the beautiful thing about this is? So we have a
should do it
really
now.
fun little story about that. So Leo Graybill, who's the chairman of the Constitutional Convention, he says we're sitting alphabetically. All these people, they ran with party affiliations. They were Republicans, they were Democrats, and they were independents. But they get to Helena, and Leo Graybill.
Were they Whigs too back then? I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. There is a fourth party actually, and I don't know. I have to go remind myself.
Yeah, who knows what it is?
Anyway, but they all seat themselves right alphabetically, and the result of this is that C.B. McNeil, a guy who ultimately ends up in Polson, who is the dyed-in-the-wool conservative, he ends up sitting right next to Mick McKeon, and Mick
Super
McKeon
liberal.
is like hair on fire liberal, right?
Supports LGBTQ back then.
Yeah, totally. He's like, I'm already gay.
I know.
You know? Now listen, they sit next to each other for the whole convention. And they're talking and in fact, I mean, here's the fun fact. These guys grew up in Anaconda together. They were not friends when things started.
No.
But you know what happens?
They spent time with each other.
They spend time with each other and they become lifelong friends.
Just like when I have girlfriends that like have boyfriends or guy friends that might work for me or be my friends, the more time they spend together, well, heads without a girlfriend. It happens. It's happened. It happens.
I'm not really sure that that's exactly what we mean, but yeah,
It's kind of what happens. You know, you spend enough time together, you're gonna love each other.
It's true. It's true. Now, the thing is,
I thought you started looking like your dog.
Oh, sorry, man.
I thought it was something about your pet.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. I got skeletons.
okay, so it takes them 54 days. They write a constitution. It's this great document that if you would like a copy of, you can have one. They're green. They're really cute.
They are
We
here for
like 'em.
free,
Every legislator has one in their suit coat pocket.
except
Yeah.
the Republicans.
Does it include the right to abortion, the one that they've got? Because
Yeah.
the one that we've got sure does.
Regier ripped that page
Small
out.
print.
Regier just ripped that one out. That don't exist.
Well, the people of Montana beg to disagree.
Yes.
So it takes them 54 days. They write a document. It's amazing. And every one of the 100 delegates,
That's the most amazing stat.
it is amazing.
That's
every
amazing.
one of the 100 delegates that attended the Constitutional Convention sign it and recommend it for the people of Montana to vote on. And that includes...
That had something to do with Jimmy Carter, though, too, probably. He won, you know.
Absolutely not. It's
History's greatest
McEwen
monster.
and it's McKeon and it's everybody before and after. They all agree to sign this Constitution. Now, some of them withdraw their signatures later. Politics are a real thing. They enter the room after the fact. But in the moment that they make this recommendation, it's unanimous. And
like
then
that.
the people of Montana, and this is a really important thing that we say during and I just want people to know, right? Like we do this presentation for anybody who wants us to do it. We have cute little cards where you can have the contact information, but you can also get part of the preamble of the Montana
We'll do it this summer here in the
Constitution.
beer garden. We'll do $1 beers for people.
Oh,
Come and
I
learn-
love it. We're
Learn
gonna
about
have
your
so much
Constitution.
fun. We're
Let's
coming
get
back.
You
fucked
got
up.
the preamble up there?
Throw up on your
We
Constitution.
do. We
Throw
have it
up
at the
on your
end.
Constitution.
We have it at the end. But it's also on these cards. So if you are like, ooh, I want this whole presentation, you got to email us, and then the person on the other end of that email.
Is this on video? Is the whole presentation on video?
No,
See, well, that's why I'm hoping that you can
because you
use
need
this.
to see it live and in person.
I mean, you can edit me out, you know, but
We will.
yeah. Oh, you should.
Ed, I never would. But the thing is,
Yeah, right.
that we're gonna get to that eventually,
Totally
but I
believe
think
you.
it's really important. We got to be live and in person because we got to have the opportunity to ask each other questions and to talk about it. And so we aren't putting this. I mean, I recognize we're gonna be on YouTube, and you guys are gonna hear a few of the fun facts. So
Yes.
if you got to hear that in advance, then you can't cheat when we give away hats.
Oh,
You know,
because we're gonna push this stuff out too, Riley. This is important.
yeah. I mean, it's really important. So what I think though is worth keeping in mind is that when we decided to have a constitutional convention, 65% of Montanans voted in favor of doing that. It is a lot easier to agree that there is a problem to solve
Yep.
than it is to agree on what the solution should be.
Because the solution's fucked up and takes years.
It's so hard. We have to get together. We have to have deep conversations. And here's the thing. In 1972, we were successful in agreeing on a solution to the problem. We passed this Constitution, and the Constitution was one that all 100 delegates agreed on, and just barely 51% of the Montana population also agreed on. And that's a beautiful thing.
Do you know about when that went down? You know, we had TV then, we had everything, and was there a lot of money? Because, okay, this year we had an important initiative, in my opinion, 126,
Yep.
to make our primaries wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
it was
did not pass.
it was leading in the polls
Yeah.
until with 2 weeks ago. Steve Daines pulled out $300 million from the RNC and put advertising against it in Montana. From what I understand, that is not constitutional. That was not a legal move, but it was allowed, and nobody in Montana fought back on it. And I'm not trying to change the subject, but this is what happened to us this year. When this happened, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, but was there pushback when it only won by 51%? I'm assuming two sides are just much like today battling for it. Was
Yeah.
there funds put into both, both sides saying yes or no, vote yes, vote no?
Definitely, there were huge efforts on
And
both
back then
sides.
would have been the conservatives not wanting to change it, or the Democrats?
Well, I wouldn't.
Because right now you have the conservatives. I mean, it is. I don't know what happened in 1972, but
Yeah.
I think it's valid to wonder. Who are the forces behind trying to defeat an initiative or to pass one?
I think it is too, but one of the things that I think is really important to keep in mind that's different between now and 1972 is that
We don't have disco anymore.
well, that's one of the really
Yeah.
disappointing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Some losers listen to it.
But we've also seen really significant changes in our campaign finance laws. And
Okay,
so the
okay,
kind of
that's the
money that
thing.
you're talking
Yep.
about is something that we didn't see in 1972 because Montana actually really
Corporations weren't people then.
hugely because we grew out of the copper collar and our concerns that were related to the amount of money that the copper kings could impose in elections at that time.
Yep.
We reacted to that, and in our Constitution, we were really thoughtful about sort of the way that money was spent and placing essentially a lot of emphasis on we the people being the final say in who gets to decide what's happening and what laws are being passed and who are our elected officials, right? Now, we have seen real changes.
Oh yes.
And largely because the federal constitution has been interpreted to say that corporations are people,
Which
that
is fucked up.
money is speech,
Money is speech.
Fucked up.
AI is speech.
and that
And
AI
here's
is speech.
here's where I don't give.
Oh, I don't know. We've seen that in the Supreme
I really
Court
don't give
just yet.
Obama
It's
and
coming.
Biden a lot of credit because none of that's changed. You had John Tensor speaking out against it. You really did on a regular basis against Citizens United.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only fucking one.
he's still
and
speaking out.
we sent him home. What does that say about Montana? And what
I mean,
does it
Montanans
say
like
about
to
the Democratic
see
Party too
that
to
we-
not defeat that, not to put this end this? Biden had the House and the Senate, much like Obama did for 2 years.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have ended
I don't know,
Citizens
when-
United?
I remember when I was
I'm
a
sorry to get off topic,
teenager,
but-
I went to the general store, and the general store managers there said to me one thing, and I'll never forget. He says, "Money talks, shit goes to the dump," and that was it. That was a life experience.
And the
It makes
regular
sense.
person cannot fight a corporation. Therefore, a corporation is a person and gets to vote. That's fucked up. But again, like I said, we went through 2 Democrats since this has happened, and they haven't done anything about it either.
I do think that talking about money in politics is wildly difficult, right?
Yes.
Because the reality is
So
that when
intricate.
you talk about money in politics, the people who have money get very involved in that conversation.
Fuck yeah, they do.
And so we
They're
have
the
to
ones with the lobbyists.
I put $25,000 in the lobbies myself this session because of marijuana.
Yeah. Well, but it's also true, right? That lobbyists are not exclusively people who are sort of run by or owned by rich people, right? Like it is true that lots of different interests are lobbying at our state legislature and federally. But I think that what's really important and what we need to be thinking about is is it a problem for us to have considered corporations as people? And
Yes.
I would say yes, right? But I also think
We're reasonable
that,
thinking people, though.
I mean, we're reasonable thinking people, but I actually think that this is one of those situations where like Montana has really had the right approach for a very long time, and we have to think about like how do we interact, right, with this change in the legal space that we interact with, because it's been since 2011. So we're not talking about something that's really old.
No.
And I think in Montana, we have continued to maintain relatively low limits for certain types of campaign contributions. And I think that it speaks to the values of Montanans, which is that we believe that money shouldn't be the only thing that determines who wins elections. And I say all of that. You asked a question about who supported the 1972 Constitution, and what I want to say is that the League of Women Voters were hugely involved in that, and they were hugely involved in it. They're a nonpartisan organization, and what they believed was that we needed to have government that worked for us. We needed to have a separation of powers that had effective checks and balances. The American Association of University Women were also heavily involved. One of the things that we talk about, if we manage to get ourselves lots of road shows around Whitefish, but also in the Flathead Valley and honestly across the state, one of the things that we talk about is why separating powers is so important for women. It's so important for all of us Joe Schmoes out on the street who just want to have an opinion about things. The key is that we need to have systems in place that allow us to participate in government. We can talk about why that is, but the bottom line is that like what won out in 1972 was not politics. What won out was common sense solution to a really problematic constitution that we had coming out of 1889 that was run by corporate interests.
And think about that. That was 135 years ago.
Yep.
What has changed?
Many things.
I mean, what's changed?
So many things.
Not much. I mean, isn't it amazing though? Like
Yeah.
again, we have new Copper Kings right now. You know?
Thank you.
Wow.
We all need to drink water.
I'm like, you want to get Joe Beck
we
a
all
water?
do.
have Copper Kings. All our elected statewide officials are gazillionaires.
You're right. And
You
that's
know,
it.
they really
okay.
are. I mean, look at them all. They're all gazillionaires.
Real
It
quick.
would almost be as if the world's richest man was directing the federal government.
Almost
I mean, it
as
sounds
if.
crazy to say.
It sounds like insane that it would
An
ever
unelected
happen.
billionaire directing policy? I mean, that's crazy. That would never
Well,
happen.
look at our top elected officials now in Montana and their net worth compared to everything else and everybody. I mean,
They're all from Gallatin.
it's just like our national politics right now. These big money
does
people.
Trey Downing live?
I don't want to stop the road show though. Riley,
Yeah,
continue
keep
the road
going,
show.
keep
We
going.
gotta get
No,
through
no,
this.
no.
and
Well, so I'd like to take this where you'd like us to go in the. I mean, Ed,
well,
see
you
the-
can take where do you want to go?
I mean, we can,
I'll go anywhere
let's think. So, okay, here is.
as long
the-
as Joe Peck's coming with
What
me.
I'd like to know.
he'll be there.
Yeah, you all are along for this ride no matter what. Okay, here's my
Reasonable and
question.
prudent. We're going to go 110. We're not doing this
These
50
three
mile an hour
guys,
stuff.
all of whom
No,
have too
reasonable
much
prudent.
knowledge about the Montana Constitution, which I love.
Yes.
The other people, I'd like to know, what is your favorite thing about the Montana Constitution that is not in the federal Constitution? Shout it out.
I like this.
The right to a clean and healthful environment. Thank you, Bo. Public lands. What else?
Equality.
You are not allowed. Equality.
I'm just saying that's my favorite one. Yeah.
Couple hand raised over
Hey, I was.
Yeah, you shout it out.
Shout it out.
The right to privacy.
TJ in the hizzle.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful one. What
I'm
else?
giving a
What
donation
else?
to TJ too
TJ's
tonight.
the man, dude.
Anybody got more? I mean, we have a lot more, you guys.
Anyone? Bueller?
Audrey. The right to know. The right to know. You can ask your government to see documents. You can ask the governor. You can ask the legislature You can ask anybody who is elected to state office in
They'll
this
make
state.
you go to court, but you can ask them.
Pay a hefty filing fee. you gotta
And
go
in
to court,
fact,
but yeah,
no,
you're
excuse
allowed
me.
to ask.
Thank you very much. We are free. And
good.
secondarily, I would just like to say that very recently we won a case, Saslaw versus Howe. I mean, we didn't win the whole case. We won a preliminary injunction that required that people could have access to the documents related to lawmaking, communications that lawmakers have about the bills that they are proposing and passing. Those have been available during this legislative sessions,
like a great idea.
consistent
It's
with the
great.
right to know.
I mean, look
It's
at some of
also-
those junk files and see what they found
Those
in them.
junk files. Now, it is the case that we have had access to those for more than 50 years because since 1972, that has been exactly what we believed we had access to. And it's true that Legislative Services tried to shut it down, but we very quickly showed up in court, and the court said, absolutely not. You get to have access to these documents. They've always been available, and you get to keep having access to them.
Yeah, and you know what they found in those junk documents? A whole bunch of lobbyists.
The lobbyists. All of the people who want to impact the way in which laws are made. You have things to say.
Oh, I was going to say, I remember when I was on city council and I'd get emails from Angie Jacobs, the city attorney, and she'd say, we got a FOIA request. They want to know, all emails about this. And I'd be like, well, here you go.
Yeah.
Go nuts. Yeah, have fun. I don't know. Probably
Because
going to be bored to tears, but
Because the advice that you're given when you are in a position that is subject to the right to know is make sure that what you write in an email is something that you would be comfortable seeing on a headline.
as you know, the E in email stands for evidence.
See, that's why the lawmakers, when they
Yes.
decided on their own slush fund, they have a slush fund themselves for technology. They decided that those computers belong to the lawmakers, and they're not state lawmakers. They're not
That's-
state laptops.
That's bullshit.
Mike, did you
But
like
they
the
did.
top 10? Did you like the top 10 about Gianforte's
Say that again?
spending the slush money?
How does not what? Well, I love this question. Will you tell me your name?
Don't give him it. That's TJ.
That's fine.
TJ!
But actually, okay.
He's gonna eat raw chicken on our show
TJ,
someday.
I'm so sorry, but I've learned your name. So here's
He's
the
a
thing.
fucking man.
TJ, you 100% have the right to privacy in your own name. However, what you don't have is if you are elected to be a representative of the people, you have suddenly become a person and
That's why we get to call Brad Abel a racist
you-
every week.
Your boss
true.
are all of us in this room. So if we elect you, we hire you to represent us.
That your shit is
then
our
we
shit.
get to, yes, your shit is our shit.
We
So
fuck
now the
with Brad
beautiful
Abel every
thing-
week.
And I love this question. Because I just want to say, hold on, because we got
That's why
to.
the lawmakers all have those state email addresses,
Yeah.
but they
Right.
all use the Gmail address.
Yep.
Because what
Or
do you
Yahoo.
have? You have.
What a great answer from TJ.
I mean, I'm so excited about this, but I wanted to bring up. Oh my God, you guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Joan, you cannot post all of this online because it has.
Joan, we're already recording it. Joan.
Perfect.
Joan, it's
Okay,
on
that's
YouTube.
fine. That's
the
great.
whole
It's
thing.
beautiful. We love it. Okay.
It's on the internet
Now,
forever.
here
Oh,
are
fuck.
our highlights of the Montana Constitution. These
I
are
called
far
Joe
from
Beckett
everything.
O'Neill. It's going to be there forever?
But one of the things I love to talk about is we've got this individual right to privacy, which TJ brought up to us earlier, right? It's a really valuable thing. And what it is it means that we get to make our own medical decisions. It means that we get to make our own decisions about how we live in our lives, how we live in our houses, what is happening on our own personal property. There are limits to this.
Somebody should tell.
We
the
are
lawmakers
not
this.
allowed. We are not
aware
allowed
of
to do things that interfere with other people's lives.
Yeah,
The
you
fact
shouldn't
that we
be.
have the fact that we have a right to
Unless
privacy.
you're fucking gay, then you got to do something about it.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't.
Amen.
As a Montanan, I'm just saying.
Amen, brother.
Ed,
Of course, I'm kidding. Satire.
Indeed. As with many things, we are allowed to have sex with the people that we want to have sex with.
It is
Like
trans-
John Malia? Because he just texted me. He said, he said, tell her it's Irish week and she must do a jig. John Malia wants you to do a jig. I just
I
got
mean,
that.
John Malia is just responding to all of the Irish in my name. There's a lot of Irish.
He
in
must
my
be
name.
watching the podcast, probably only because you're on it.
I mean,
He doesn't like me that much.
I do love John Malliot.
Everybody does.
He's a lovable man.
Yeah, how do you
Now,
not?
here's
All right,
the thing.
Let's go.
I want to talk about what TJ just brought up because I think it's a tension that is worth exploring for a moment longer.
TJ's a gun dealer, just so you know.
He's doing a great job.
Okay.
Riley's doing great. She's the only one that
Now-
can remember what TJ was
Now,
talking about.
privacy is intention, right? We have this moment where we get to have this experience. What is privacy, and why do we have government transparency on the other end of that spectrum? And the reason is that we are their bosses. And look, that does not mean that we get to look at every text message. Governor Gianforte is allowed to go to a sports game of a relative of his. He's allowed to attend his child's basketball games without us knowing about it. It's not our business.
He is allowed to fly from Helena to Yellowstone to shoot collared wolves.
No.
Yes, of course.
No.
Out of a helicopter.
Mike.
Out of
no,
a helicopter.
He's not. No, he's not. No, like
For $120,000, you too could do that.
absolutely not. Now, the hard thing about being an elected official, right, is that your whole life is under scrutiny.
Yeah.
And we recognize that. I
Or
have
a podcast
I have a
host.
lot of sympathy for that.
No, I have no sympathy at all. I think.
Well, I do, but my sympathy is
But you
limited.
do it full well knowing that's what's going to happen.
Yes, but my sympathy is also limited because what you need to do is you need to do things that you are able to show the receipts to the Montana people when
Yes.
you make decisions that are going to affect their lives.
And if
that's
you can
what-
run as an
that's what government
independent, I think it
transparency
makes it
is about.
easier. I think
It's- yes.
Running as an independent would make that all easier, but the Republicans are making that harder right now. That blows my mind because I love what you're saying, and I know exactly what you're saying, and you're held out there for scrutiny. As an elected official, you should be scrutinized. You should answer emails. You should talk to your constituents. But I'm telling you what, we have one party in this state that will not talk to their constituents, and they're making it harder for people to run as an independent because I think as an independent, it'd be easier to talk to people.
Or not even talk to they won't even have a town hall.
No, they won't fucking do anything. Okay, and I'm sorry. That's a rant, and I want you to finish your show. I swear to God, Riley. But
No, I mean it's great.
sometimes it's just like, that kind of like it does bug me about certain parties. I would say.
Well,
but let's finish up.
I think that we care about having access to
Well,
the people
duh.
that we hire, right? Like
Yes.
I think we care.
You're right.
And-
Yes.
And I think that one of the things that's really beautiful about the Montana Constitution is it's not just the right to know, it's also the right to participate. It's the right to have a say in government. And I can't remember, as on top of things as I am, I can't quite remember where we are in the roadshow. Okay, hold on. I do know. Now, this is the part that I wanted to point out. So when you've got three branches of government, they interact with each other, and their job is to check and balance the exercise of power.
And is
Now-
that why the Republicans want to control our Supreme Court because they're sick of the check and the balances?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, of course. That's
No,
exactly
and
what's going
I
on.
wouldn't say
They want
necessarily.
that
It's
new
not.
Supreme Court.
New one, yes, a new one.
We'd like to, all of us, I mean,
Judiciary
we
oversight.
all know the saying, right? We know, is it JFK who said, absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing, right? Like when you concentrate power and you give power to one group of people and you expect them to adhere to a set of rules,
It's not happening.
they're going to push against it.
It's fucked.
And
yeah.
we have to be the kind of people that we have three branches for a reason.
And how are we a country of just two ideals fighting against each other? With all these people, we narrowed it down to two ideals. There's other countries in this world that have 7, 8, 9, 10 different parties running for elections. We have two.
Well, libertarians can't win for whatever reason.
I blame capitalism.
I mean, you got the
I'm
Constitutional
blaming
Party
capitalism.
guy who
I'm going to
won
blame
Georgia.
capitalism on that.
Well, we
I'm
have
gonna.
Honda Days and Toyotathon.
Right. That's a tough one.
That's it.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, you're talking about something else.
No, I thought maybe I was.
Oh.
I
Just
got
kidding.
two conclusions for
I'm
you guys.
sidetracking Radley.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
guys are great. You guys are great. Everything is great.
You're just saying that because we're hot.
You're so hot. That's all that's actually all I've wanted to say.
I have 3
all
posters of
night.
Hennon in my bathroom.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
the feedback we get on this show.
I got a laminated one for my shower.
I think the thing that we have to remember, and this is a thing that's really unpopular to talk about because it's like we don't want to have real conversations about
Don't
like
bring
what is the
unpopular
point.
topics.
But
here.
I love this is important.
We
'cause
don't
it's
want to
fucking
talk
true.
about the fact that what is the point of government it's not for it to be the most efficient institution out there.
Do not tell any conservative in Montana that right now, because they love the fuck out of Elon Musk.
And but listen, the
'Cause
goal
he's saying the
of
opposite.
government is to be fair, and it's not to most efficiently do every single thing. And this is not to say
You
that
can't
efficiency.
be efficient as a government.
Well, and you can be efficient in the provision of
You
certain
could try.
things, but you can't be in the sense that what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to consider what all of us think. That the
Yes.
people who are important are not just the people who
We're all
have
the
the
same.
microphone. That each of us have the opportunity and we are supposed to be allowed to participate.
Every one of us has an equal voice.
Each of us has an equal voice.
And corporations too.
And
Right, that sucks.
and unfortunately, corporations too.
Exactly.
But the reality is, and the reason why that's
Don't forget
the-
AI.
Oh, AI,
Don't forget
AI now. You're right, you're right.
As
And
Jesus said, Blue Cross Blue Shield gets the same time
Yes.
as the Sermon on the Mount.
Praise Jesus.
As everyone else.
Yes,
Yeah.
praise Jesus.
And as much as I would like to say, I wish that it was not, and unfortunately, but the reason why it's unfortunate is because when corporations have the power to speak, they are able to use an excessive amount of money. And you think
To
about
manipulate through media.
to manipulate.
They're using
and to
shareholder
manipulate.
money.
Full
Yes,
stop.
shareholder money, and the shareholders are okay with it.
Well,
Argue that the corporations bought office? Couldn't it be argued that corporations are running this country not for fair?
Well, of course, that's a deep state, TJ. We all know that.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it could be argued. And I would say that the good news is that it's not uniform. The
True.
bad news is that it's definitely part of the system that we have created.
Well, it's not uniform because there's competition for
There-
that dollar.
Well, and because I think that there are people out here who are present right here today in your bar
Like me.
that
Apparently,
care
you're looking at me, so.
that care. Well, totally, but that it's not uniform in the sense that like many people are being elected to office that are not necessarily supported by corporations, and sometimes you see that money is not the only thing that speaks, and sometimes it is the only thing that speaks, but we don't always know exactly how that's going to go. The people of Montana, but also people more broadly, like we vote for the things that we care about. And sometimes we don't know exactly what we're voting for. And
For
I
the
think,
majority of time, you're damn right we have.
right.
Yeah. I think it was in Moynihan who said take their money and vote against
Moynihan,
interest.
yep.
There's a little more in there.
We're changing right now pretty fast. But, Riley, to your point, what you just said, yeah, man, for the
Right.
fucking majority of our history, yes.
Right. And I think that is it's a real thing that we can expect if we commit ourselves to a world in which our voices matter. I don't think that corporations get to decide all the outcomes.
I think in Montana, our problem is Regier, Glim, Hertz, these guys, our senators, seriously, in West Montana,
I hear you.
that are fucking hurt, that like they're not on the same page we are.
It really matters who you send up there.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Really matters.
Because like you just said, they're not on the same page as Riley is talking about, that I'm talking about. This is not, a partisan issue to me. This is about what's right for Montana.
Right.
And what you're doing with this roadshow and how this is affecting people and how much you're going to, and you got 5 years to keep doing this. And we're going to support you 100%. In fact, I'm matching Bo's $250 donation, raising it to $500. And if anybody else gives money, to Upper
Bo
7
said he's
tonight,
putting 5 in.
I just said I'm doing 5. No, I said that first. He texted me a half
a-
hour ago
it's
that,
a
but I didn't want to give him the
competition.
upper hand.
Who wants to donate more than Ed and Bo?
Yeah, come on. Let's see. Oh fuck, Brian's here. You sell that lake property yet? We'll wait till you do. Don't worry.
Well,
He's going to have to sell soon.
But
the
Raleigh,
tax bill's
I would
coming.
say that every point you've made has been incredibly fair. And I know I've tried to push you into a corner. I've made some things that I've said uncomfortable. This podcast is about that, but you've done an incredible job. An incredible job of this has been a 3-hour podcast. We've never gone this long ever.
We are
And
approaching Rogan territory.
fuck that.
Well, not subject matter, but
Oh no, we're not talking about boners in fucking
yeah.
The
WWE.
longer you talk, the more people pay attention.
Yeah, no shit. Shut up, Ed O'Neill. I love it. We're gonna introduce you as Ed O'Neill from now on.
I think we didn't. So Ed already knows this, and I think maybe
Well, I know everything. Come on.
He knows everything. But the important thing that I think we need to put as the sort of bow on today's conversation is that in 2030, because in 1972 we decided, in all of our wisdom, to submit the Constitution repeatedly to the people of Montana, because at the end of the day, who's in charge here? It's us. And so we are going to be asked in 2030 to decide whether we want to keep this document or if we want to have a constitutional convention and write a new one. And I will point out to you again that it is much easier to agree that there is a problem to solve than it is to solve the problem. It is also true that we have systems for passing amendments and we have ways to make smaller changes. And so if someone is unhappy with a specific thing, do you want to put everything on the table? It is perhaps obvious that I am a big fan of the Constitution that we have. But
That's obvious.
one of
yes.
it's
Your
not
fucking
even
roadshow thing, all that, yeah.
I mean,
Like I said, you sleep with this every night.
I am
You
putting
can't
it
even have
under
a
my
man in
pillow.
your life because this takes up all the space in your bed.
The
I
Montana
know it.
Constitution is the man in my life. Now, what I want to say that is really, really important is that my goal in doing the Montana Constitution Roadshow is not to persuade you that you should agree with me. My goal is to persuade you to have conversations about this document with your friends and your neighbors and your family, because when people start reading this document, they start feeling good.
Yes.
And my parents are people who do a lot of anti-suicide, a lot of suicide prevention work. They talk about happiness. I like to focus on things that are happy. I like to focus on things that make us feel good. The Montana Constitution is something that's going to make you feel good, so you should read
Make
it.
you feel great.
It's going to make you feel great. You should read it, and you should decide before 2030 whether or not you want to vote to keep it. And you should also talk about it with your friends and your family and your neighbors.
Riley, what about not necessarily you, but other advocacy groups and nonprofits out there that maybe, and I don't know if this might be part of your plan, but to me it sounds like a good idea to put some of the things in our Constitution that really make sense and every Montana can agree in on billboards around Montana.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful
let
idea.
them know, like people. I'll be honest. I mean, I got like 40-some employees and probably 4,000 friends.
Yeah.
And maybe 10% know what we're talking about. I know you laugh, but yeah, I've been here 25 years.
I'm so impressed
Like,
with
half
you.
the
I mean,
fucking
like,
town is my
honestly.
friend because I'm a nice guy. Like
We like Ed.
I'm not a fucking dick.
I'm
I
a
guess.
nice guy, damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It fucks me every day. All these fucking people at Safeway and
I
Silver
feel like-
Lawn.
I feel
Hey, Ed,
like-
how you doing? Fucking great.
We need a billboard that is like a provision of the Montana Constitution, and then at the bottom it just says, "We like Ed."
Yeah, okay, that might help. That might help. You never know. I'll be senator when I'm 60, I think. So that's going to be just after the Constitution Convention we might go through. But
We're never going through one.
Right, over my dead body, Ed. Yeah.
yeah, good luck with that one. Anything else, Riley?
No.
Thank you so much.
you, Riley.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
I think that was a
Guys.
fucking treat to have you here, man. Thank you very much. We just had the longest podcast we've ever had in the history of the 100 podcasts we've done, but worth every second of it. Oh, look at that. Here's a check from Bo Down at $500.
Did he sign it?
Yeah, right.
Did he sign